should.
Good evening. I have a trophy here that's dangerous. It's full of candy. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm pre-diabetic, so I'll stay away. I'm just here to present, on behalf of the league, the Western Division champions, the Wareham Gatemen. To Tom Gate, the president of the Wareham Gatemen. I'll hand it over to the coach, the GM. We're good.
And now it's time for the ceremonial first pitch. Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch this evening is Fred Carbone.
Not yet.
I was deputy commissioner before, now I'm director of officiating. And I'm here to present the Curly Clement Award to the Umpire of the Year. I'm with Nick Zabelli, the president of the CBUAO, our assigning organization, and John Leeds, a former Umpire of the Year. This year, we're presenting the Curly Clement Award to a man who, except for Nick Zabelli, is the longest tenured umpire in the league. He'll probably say, "What took you so long?" But he comes from New Hampshire. He comes a long way for the many big games he does at the Cape. He's a professional on the field, and he's a professional off the field. As witnessed by an incident that occurred at Orleans earlier this year, I won't tell you the whole story, but believe me, he made a little girl, he made her day and possibly her summer. She'll never forget Rick Emerson for what he did for her. The Curly Clement Award winner, Rick Emerson.
Ours are 52 pieces.
Oh, they did. He told us. Thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
Actually, no, I saw the
Here tonight to say those two famous words we all love to hear are some of the dedicated members of our Gatemen organization.
boy Tom Crane.
The bat kids this evening are Sophia Irish and Kyle Hoffman.
Hello and welcome, Wareham fans, to another presentation of the Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And we turn a new leaf over to a new season. It's playoff time here on the Cape. And like a good game of rock, paper, scissors, it's best 2 out of 3 between the number 1 seeded in Western Division regular season champion Wareham Gatemen and the number 4 seeded Cotuit Kettleers. Welcome on in. Alongside me, Henrique Demore. I'm Cameron Stewart, bringing you Game 1 of the Western Division semifinals. And Henrique, this is a team that the Gatemen matched up well against to start the year, but it hasn't been as smooth a sailing since then.
No, it really hasn't, just because, the Gatemen, in their last 3 games against the Kettleers, they are 1-1-1. They have yet to lose at Lowell Park, but Lowell Park has not been kind to them. A 4-4 tie and a 2-2 tie that both came down to the 9th inning, in which the Gatemen blew a 1-run lead, 2-1, and then 4-3. Now, that 4-3 lead would not have been possible if the Gatemen hadn't dropped a 9 spot on the Kettleers in the top of the 9th inning. But that being said, Cotuit has been maybe the hottest team in the CCBL, definitely the hottest team in the Western Division. Wareham's been playing really good baseball, but these Kettleers are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Peyton Burdick, Will Robertson, Michael Tolia, they've been hitting the cover off the ball, but now Griffin McLarty is going to be the guy they counter Ryan Garcia with. But Garcia himself has had one of the best starting seasons as a starter in the CCBL. Obviously got the All-Star nod this year, has yet to give up more than 1 earned run all year on a single start, has not given up an earned run in his last 2 starts, 3 appearances.
Garcia's going to get us underway as the first pitch is fouled straight back by Will Robertson out of Creighton. Garcia appeared in the last matchup between these two back last Tuesday, July the 31st, in a game at Lowell Park that resulted in a 4-4 tie. Garcia went an inning in relief in that one. Did not allow a run, gave up a hit in his 3 batters face, so just did go the minimum as this one runs inside to Robertson to even things at 1-1. A 2-0 record on the year for the UCLA Bruin, a 1.28 ERA. This is his 8th game, his 7th start. Has pitched 28 innings, struck out 33, and he's 1 away from number 34 as Robertson cuts through this one, and he's down in the count 1-2.
Yeah, we've seen Garcia have really good stuff all year. His breaking ball is absolutely devastating, and because of his smaller frame, when he throws that fastball, it has deceptive lift to it.
The 1-2 is going to miss up and away. Puts the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So to kind of wrap up that point, Garcia, not too big. He's listed at 6'1", but that might be a stretch 6'1".
This one cut on and missed on an elevated fastball from Garcia. First batter, first strikeout. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard, the official strikeout sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen. Good start for Ryan Garcia. Now Michael Tolia will stand in, first baseman and a college teammate of Garcia's at UCLA.
Tolia had a stretch earlier this year in which he hit 3 home runs in 4 games. Should have been 4-4, but he had one actually robbed from him. So he's had his share of success. And a hot streak going. These UCLA bats, we know they're good. We know Jeremy Idens can rake. We know Ryan Kreidler has had his power on recently. Even, obviously, Garcia doing awesome work on the bump, but even Jack Ralston, really good appearances out of relief recently.
This one going to miss inside, puts the count at a ball and a strike. Certainly a lot of these Bruins making their way around the league, but especially for the Wareham Gatemen. So you just mentioned 4 right there, as this one's going to be roped right at a Houston Cougar, and it's Lyle Lockhart, the first baseman, who leaps up to grab it, and it's 2 up, 2 down for Garcia here in the top of the first.
That one hard hit, left a little bit up in the zone. The lefty Tolia, he roped it. It was a very well hit ball, but right to the big lanky Lyle Lockhart out there in shallow right field almost, playing just a few feet away from the right field grass over there at first. We've talked about Lockhart's offensive comings and goings this year, but we've also talked about, I think, at this point enough about his defensive capabilities. Obviously, that one not a stellar effort, but he really has been awesome all year defensively for Wareham at first.
Breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike 1. So that was the first taste for the Gatemen defense today, which has Lockhart at first and Oliver Dunn at second, Ryan Kreidler at short, and Austin Shenton at third. Left to right in the outfield, as this one's going to be bounced to Dunn. Couple steps over, and he makes the throw on to first to complete the 1-2-3 inning. Good start as usual for Ryan Garcia. Gatemen coming up for the first time today here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
is a proud sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen. If you're looking for a career at sea, look to NMI's program of education, adventure, and employment on northeastmaritime.com, America's premier 2-year maritime college.
Gatemen Baseball is officially sponsored by Robertson's GMC, the truck professionals. Located just 2 miles away on Cranberry Highway, we are proud to sponsor the Gatemen Youth Clinic for 2018. Robertson's GMC. We are professional grade. Power like a pro.
Legacy Insurance Agency at 213 Main Street here in Wareham can offer you coverage for all your insurance needs. We have the bundle discounts, the accident forgiveness, the vanishing deductible, no loss, etc. But unlike those other gimmick companies, we can quote you with multiple carriers. So forget the lizard and the price tool and come talk to a professional. We'll help you find what's right for you.
Here for the bottom of the first inning from Spillane Field in Wareham. Home team getting their first cuts at Griffin McClarty. Today's starter for the Cotuit Kettleers, who has just a 1-3 record on the year, gets the nod for Game 1 and a 5.28 ERA. This is his 9th game, his 8th start. And in 30 2/3 innings this year, he has struck out just 23 and has walked 11. As the first pitch misses down low to Isaac Collins, who was in right field today for the Gatemen. Ryan Garcia so efficient in that first inning, I couldn't even finish our defensive alignments. Out in center field, Jeremy Idens, who will bat 4th today for the Gatemen, and in left field, Jacob Goldfarb, who will bat 8th. As this one catches the corner to even things at 1-1. McClarty has pitched against the Gatemen before, an 8-1 Wareham victory at Cotuit back on July the 3rd. He got the loss in that one, went 4 2/3. And allowed 2 earned runs on 8 hits as this one's headed out towards left field. And this one will be tracked down for out number 1. Collins got good wood on it, but he is retired. So Peyton Burdick reels it in. Now Oliver Dunn will step to the plate. Guy who has been one of the hottest Gatemen hitters lately, as he has found himself a lot more time in the batting order since Zahid Valenzuela had to cut his season short due to injury. This one just misses, not a bad looking pitch off the outside corner. But it is ball 1 to the Utah Ute, who has put up his average to 243 after a really tough start to the year. 4 doubles, a triple, a homer, and 8 RBI as he slices this one foul off to the left. Wind is starting to blow out towards center field here at Spillane, usually dead to right field. Not so far today, as this one misses too far inside. Zach Humphreys, the catcher for Cotuit, tried to pull it back, but nothing doing. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Dunn's going to bounce this one on the ground to third. Brady Smith with a twirl and a throw on over to first to retire Dunn. It's 2 quick outs for Griffin McClarty, who struggled against the Gatemen last time. It's off to a good start here so far in the first.
A couple of hard hit balls, just kind of right at guys. Collins a little lazier hit, but Dunn going opposite field with a hard ground ball. You like to see it, but still Smith with a nice play to keep that one in front of him alone. A nice twirl, like you said, Cam, to finish off the play. But Dunn, I mean, the resurgence of Oliver Dunn was capped off by, I mean, it has been awesome to see, but it was capped off by that game he had at Orleans, which was absolutely incredible.
Shenton is going to sky this one foul off to the left. Burdick will give it a look, but it will get out of play.
Dunn in that one just to wrap that point up. 4 for 6, 2 doubles, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And he played second base. The deuces were wild at Eldridge Park.
He had a great day. The Gatemen had a great day in that one. The 11-2 victory last Saturday against the fledgling Orleans Firebirds. This one's going to be sent Burdick's way again. He's moving towards the foul line, and he will track it down on the run. So each starter trades 1, 2, 3 first, and we head to the second here from Spillane, scoreless on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Shop from home year-round on Gatemen.org. You can customize your Gatemen gear from any device, anywhere. We offer a large selection of apparel and unique gifts 24/7, 365. Hard to find sizes, colors, and styles. Youth Clinic registration is also available. Visit us today and remember us for holiday gifts at Gatemen.org. Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Mezzaluna is a family-run Italian restaurant celebrating 80 years in business. Located on Main Street in Buzzards Bay, Mezzaluna specializes in Italian cuisine, a lunch menu that's the best deal in town, and serves Cape Cod's famous prime rib every Wednesday and Saturday. Come enjoy the feast at Mezzaluna, the Italian family restaurant.
To the second inning we go, and scoreless after each pitcher sets down their first 3 hitters in order. Ryan Garcia, the man who does it for the Gatemen, will come out for his second inning of work. And it's 4-5-6 in the Cotuit order, which got shaken up about 20 minutes before game time here at Spillane, Enrique, as Duke Ellis, today's starting center fielder, was penned in for the Cotuit Kettleers, been with them since the end of the College World Series. It's a bit of a warm day here in Wareham, over 80 degrees, and he had to be actually taken to the hospital with a case of heat stroke, so he was scratched. Corey Wood moves in the 4th spot, and replacing him defensively is Rafe Chomet, who will play out in center field today. He is due up in this inning. He will bat 6th. But right now, Corey Wood, the second baseman out of Coastal Carolina, down in the count 0-1. This one misses outside, a ball and a strike to him. Wood at .213 on the year and batting in the cleanup spot today. Does have a couple of homers, but only 6 RBI for the Kettleers. As he fouls this one off to the left and out of play, he's down in the count 1-2.
Wood, another one of those guys for the Kettleers that has been there wire to wire for Cotuit pretty much. Along with Zach Bierman, one of the 2 Coastal Carolina Chanticleers on this roster.
This one gonna miss, 2-2 now the count. (2-2) cut on and missed at a pitch down low. Martellini's able to catch it out of the air, so no tag need be applied. And it's the second strikeout of the day for Ryan Garcia. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And both innings, he leads things off with a K.
We've seen on both those Ks, Cam, a different type of pitch used as the put-out pitch. Will Robertson led things off for Cotuit, and like you said, he was a victim of a swinging strikeout. There was an up-and-away fastball that got blown right by him. This time got Corey Wood with the breaking stuff.
And now Salvatore will foul this one off to the right and out of play. 0-1 the count to him. Florida State Seminole, hitting at .287 on the year for Cotuit. A couple of homers, 14 RBI, but a .314 on base percentage. So he will bounce this one towards the way of Ryan Kreidler, who charges in on it, and it just bounces right out of his glove. And reaching at first base run of the day for either team is Michael Salvatore. We'll see how that one is scored, but that's usually something that Ryan Kreidler comes up with.
Especially as of late, Cam, I agree with you. He's been much more sure-handed at shortstop. Maybe it's just the playoff nerves getting the better of him, because in the last 2 weeks, Ryan Kreidler has not only, I believe, expanded his range, but also made a couple fewer errant throws. As he seems to be more in control of himself and be willing to take the half second to plant his feet in order to make a good throw, as he's airmailed a couple earlier on in the year. But I mean, despite an up and down season at the plate, he has been a mainstay and a rock at short, sometimes even at third.
And he gets the error on this one. It is ruled an E6. So he was charging hard on it the way he always does to make that throw on the run. So this one runs inside. Now the count is 2-0 to Chaumette. So still no hits on the day for the Kettleers. This is the 6th man they have sent up to the plate. Chaumette out of Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. Still looking for his first hit on the young season, as this one is going to be sliced foul off to the left out of play to put him at 2-1. He is 0 for 4 as a member of the Kettleers in his one game played. Struck out twice. A native of Sugar Land, Texas. Garcia going to check on Salvatore, and that's a throw that nearly got away from a guy Chaumette probably knows from growing up, Lyle Lockhart, both in the greater Houston area.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if those two played some sort of AAU or travel ball growing up, Little League, whatever you, what have you.
This one's going to be cut on and missed at a pitch up high. Even things at 2-2 with one out and a man at first base.
We've seen a lot of those. I mean, like I mentioned it briefly in the first inning, the up and away fastball that Garcia likes to employ, and because of his smaller frame, the deceptive delivery and release point, you get a lot of swings and misses at fastballs at the shoulders.
Connecting here is Chaumette, but will send it back foul to keep things at 2-2. Gatemen with their road blue uniforms today at home, which we have seen the last few times out here at Spillane.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought this was a big conspiracy, and we got a straight answer today on why. And it's simply because the players prefer them. They just don't really like the whites.
Yeah.
Must not be big Red Sox fans.
Guess not.
Pretty similar looking uniforms. This one's blooped out to right field. Moving towards the line is Isaac Collins, and will make the catch for the second out of the inning.
Not too many hard-hit balls all day, really any. Off the bat of Garcia, even the Mike Salvatore E6 wasn't especially hard hit at Kreidler. He just missed it. Like you said, Cam, it just kind of bounced out of his glove. But even the flyouts have been weak. The ground out to Oliver Dunn was a routine one. Made him shift a little bit over to his left, yes, but Dunn's range at second base is nothing short of exceptional. The only one you could argue was hard hit was a liner off the bat of Tolia, but Lockhart in position to field that one.
And this is a guy who can hit a ball hard, but swings and misses at the first one. Peyton Burdick, 252 average on the Cape out of Wright State. 5 homers, 24 RBI. Of course, 3 of those 5 homers coming on a blistering debut for him. 3 on opening night. Only 2 since then. He is a guy who has been with them the whole season, so that all the way back in the middle of June, as this one misses up high. So definitely a power outage as of late, I guess you could say. Picked up his 4th and 5th in the final 2 weeks of the season as well. 351 on base percentage, though, has kept his spot in left field very safe. 1-1, cut on and missed again. Another elevated one from Garcia. 1-2 with 2 gone.
Yeah, Burdick started out as a temp, and like you said, he went 4 for 4 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. I mean, that is about as extraordinary a debut as one could have. Was signed very quickly to a permanent contract, obviously, but since then the power numbers have gone down. But in the last couple of weeks, not too bad numbers-wise for Mr. Burdick. He's part of the reason that the Cotuit Kettleers have been able to produce runs at the clip they've been able to produce them, win as many games as they have. Like we said, winners of 7 of their last 10, 7-2-1 overall over the last 10 games for the Kets, allowing them to build a lead and almost challenge for 3rd in the Western Division.
Garcia comes home with the 2-2 right down Main Street for a called strike 3. It's the second of the inning and the 3rd of the game for Garcia. They're brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And he leaves a man stranded. The first base run of their game stays right at first base. And we head to the bottom of the second, still scoreless here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Soft as a Grape has 10 retail locations on Cape Cod, so even when you're cheering on your Gatemen at any away games, stop into a Soft as a Grape store for the best Cape Cod products. Stores located in Falmouth, Mashpee, Woods Hole, Hyannis, Chatham, Provincetown, Edgartown, Oak Bluffs, and Vineyard Haven. From beach day to every day, Soft as a Grape has you covered. Whatever your goals may be, Joe Crespi and the Merrill Lynch of Taunton will work with you to develop a customized financial strategy designed to help you pursue what's important to you. Managing your wealth and listening to you is their top priority. Folks, after the game, be sure to visit El Mariachi on Main Street for the best Mexican food in Wareham. The cantina provides a delicious late-night snack accompanied by fun cocktails.
Four, 5, 6 due up in the Gatemen orders. We play on to the bottom of the second inning against Griffin McLarty. Jeremy Idens, Gian Martellini, and Drew Millis due up in this inning. Only one base runner through the first inning and a half. He reached on a Ryan Kreidler error. That was Michael Salvatore and was left stranded at first base. So a good start for both pitchers. Just one over the minimum thus far. But coming up now is the man who finished the season in the league lead in RBIs, the RBI king of the Cape, Jeremy Idens. The center fielder today out of UCLA will lead things off.
Finished the season batting just a hair under 300, which is pretty remarkable considering the clip he was hitting at. All-star starter in center field for the West Division. His first pitch from McLarty's fouled back. But Idens, even through his tough stretch that, a couple days ago he snapped a 2 for 24, which was not the pace he was hitting at. Especially considering he dropped down into that 4 spot, but he allowed him to get more RBIs and make those RBI numbers climb. But even during a rough stretch, he kept producing with RBI groundouts and sac flies, which don't show up in average, but he's been a consistent run producer for Wareham, the only guy in the CCBL to top 30 RBIs during the regular season.
And he did it with style, finishing off that race back on Bourne on Thursday night. 3-run homer definitely solidified that spot as here in Player of the Game the last 2 days of the regular season from the Gatemen Baseball Network. These now ahead of the count, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1, cut on and missed. Big swing there from Idens. Brought him out of his shoes just a bit to even things at 2-2.
Like Idens just straight up missed that one. Sometimes there's not much more to it than that. That was not a fantastically located pitch by McLarty. Fastball at the letters. Idens was sitting on something else on 2-1. I think he got away with one there.
2-2 to Idens. Check swing. He holds it back. And the pitch down low will miss. So that's going to run the count full. Not even an appeal down to that first base umpire. 3-2 to the leadoff man here in the second inning. Payoff. Going to run inside. And Idens will trot down to first base with a leadoff walk, still trying to work out of that slump a bit. We mentioned the last 2 games of the regular season he started to catch fire again, but before that, 2 for 24 going into the Wednesday matchup. And any way you can get your way on base will certainly keep you in there. It's the first base runner of the day for the Gatemen. And now it's up to the former Cotuit Kettleer, Gian Martellini.
Yeah, second summer in the Cape, this summer for Wareham. Last summer for Cotuit, and he's been a Kettleer killer this summer. In his limited playing time in the starting lineup for Wareham, yes, but in his kind of spot starts and pinch hit appearances, his numbers against Cotuit specifically have been nothing short of extraordinary. Combined 5 for 10 with 6 RBIs for Martellini, the rising senior out of Boston College.
Has his only homer of the year at Lowell Park in Cotuit this year. He's down in the count 0-1. And, of course, the big hit last time out these two teams met where the Gatemen were down 3-0 in the 9th inning, powered back for 4 in their half of the 9th before giving one up in the bottom half to end in a 4-4 tie. Martellini had the bases loaded, 2-run single to tie things up. And this one's going to bounce up the middle. It's a tough play there for Corey Wood. He'll flip it to Salvatore for 1 on to first, not in time. And that was an awfully close play at first base. Corey Wood with his hands in the air in bewilderment. That looked like a beautifully turned double play for the Kettleers, but the Gatemen look like they get away with one and put a man at first.
Well, I think they did get away with one there, Cam. That'll go down as a fielder's choice.
Oh, you see it right there. He's out.
He's out. They're going to see the replay here. Yep. And the ball hit the glove before Martellini's foot hit the bag. He was out.
It's a terrific play there, like you said, by Wood. That took a high hop, and he has to field it behind the second base bag before flipping to Salvatore. But some tough luck there for the Kettleers. And this one's going to be shot the other way by Drew Millis in the left field for a base hit. First pitch he sees. We know he likes those, and he takes one the other way. And it's the first Gatemen hit of the game, and they have men at first and second.
I was surprised Mike Roberts didn't even say anything for Cotuit's manager. I mean, he's been known to...
He's one to put his point out there, put his 2 cents out there, let's say that.
He is not shy about letting umpires know what he thinks. And obviously we see a 4-man crew today, so one fewer excuse to butcher a call. But Mike Roberts stayed completely silent on the Cotuit dugout. That's surprising to me.
And now because of it, there's a man in scoring position in Gian Martellini and Drew Millis at first base for the switch-hitting Lyle Lockhart, who will bat from the left side. First offering to him is down in the dirt. It's behind Zach Humphreys. He has no idea where it is. It didn't squirt that far away, but because he didn't know, both runners will advance into scoring position now, taking away what could have been another double play and making for a prime scoring chance for the Gatemen here in the second.
Big pass ball there, because like you said, Cam, it really didn't get too far away from Humphreys. It hit his glove, so I think the TCU Horned Frog thought he had it, but it just kind of dribbled out from under his legs, and really good heads-up teammateship by the Gatemen and Lyle Lockhart, rifling their runners over. So now Martellini able to take third, Millis into second, and 2 in scoring position, infield in here for Cotuit with less than 2 outs.
For a guy whose bat has been coming alive lately in Lockhart, as this one catches the outside corner. 4 strike 1. Going into the game in Orleans last Saturday, he had 1 homer on the year. He's had 2 since then, in the 4 games since then. And his last home game, he hit one to deep right field, and Lyle certainly admired it as it cleared both fences back in the right center field wall against the Bourne Braves. 2-1 is now the count. He's got 16 RBI on the year, has a chance to add to that total right now.
Lockhart got a little help from the breeze, but that thing would have been long gone without it still. I think must have gone at least 400 feet. He nuked it.
2-1. He's going to get under this one and push it foul off to the left to even things at 2-2. McClarty, not a big strikeout guy, but this would be a huge one for him here if he's able to get it. McClarty with just 23 in his 30 2/3. A lot of ways Lockhart can bring in a run right now. Okay. 2-2, gonna miss up high and run things full.
Really good take there from Lockhart, especially as, like you said, Cam, with 2 strikes. I mean, yes, batters' eyes could get big with a fastball at the letters, especially with a big opportunity here to try to put the Gatemen ahead early in game 1 of this series against the Kettleers. But if your bat's been hot lately, you're trying to swing at everything. You're trying to prove that your bat getting hot is not a fluke. Really good take there from Lockhart.
3-2, he's protecting the plate here, and it's skied up in the air for Zach Humphreys in foul ground, and he will make the catch. A big out there from Griffin McClarty for the second one of the inning and keep both those runners stranded at second and third.
Really well-located pitch there from McClarty. Up and in to Lyle Lockhart, who, his power alley has been to right center. I mean, we talked about that home run against Bourne, But like you said, Cam, just trying to protect. Maybe thought he could get a hold of one, but was a little late on it. Sawed him off a little bit. Zach Humphreys under to make the grab for the Kettleers.
So now this inning falls on Jacob Goldfarb, the Oregon Duck, and another former Cotuit Kettleer. In fact, he played for them at the beginning of this year. His last game in a Cotuit uniform was that 8-1 loss to the Gatemen back on July 3rd. He was a member of the Gatemen on July 5th. This one is going to be in there for a called strike 1-1. So we didn't have to sit very long. If you'll recall, that was right after Bryant Packard had to leave for Team USA, so the Gatemen were in need of an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a pretty good pickup for them at .268 on the year, but that on-base percentage is what's off the charts, .426.
Yeah.
He cuts through this one to put things at 1-2.
Well, and speaking of filling roster spots, I mean, you may remember if you've been with us for the whole year, number 45 used to belong to Joey Matulovic. That was right after Matulovic signed with the Helena Brewers, the single-A team of the Milwaukee Brewers, who he was drafted by earlier this year. So took his number, and I mean, Matulovic, what a force on the mound he was for Wareham.
You remember that last start?
Yeah. One hit through 6, 1 hit through 7.
That's it, and that would be July 3rd against the Cotuit Kettleers.
Yes, sir.
1-2 is going to miss up high to even things up. If Goldfarb were to get on like he does so often, it would be the number 9 man, Ryan Kreidler, who would stride up next. Two going to be fouled straight back, giving us a little heads up. Keep things at 2-2.
Well, if we weren't awake before, we are now.
Yeah, just one zip tie broke on that one.
Oh, we got what, 5 more left?
Yeah, luckily
6.
we do bunch up on that plexiglass.
Yep.
2-2 once more is going to be fouled off of Goldfarb. May have come up and caught him in the face.
Oof. Looked like it might have just gotten him off the foot initially, but Goldfarb in some pain. I think part of the reason he's down is because the swing was a little wonky and he kind of spun out of his shoes a little bit. That being said, he's down and the trainers are out there taking a look at him. He's holding his right ankle.
Yeah, he's shaken up, and you mentioned he's grabbing at that leg now. Thought with the way it hopped in front of him, it might have caught him in the face, but don't know. Definitely a big piece of the foot.
This would be tough. I mean, Goldfarb, he's a good set of legs out there in left field. He can move pretty quick. Playing that corner outfield spot well for Wareham. He's up and walking around, which is always good to see. Maybe no doubt someone at least maybe getting warm as Goldfarb tests the ankle here.
And one of the Gatemen regulars, Skylar Hunter, normally the center fielder, is on the bench today for Wareham, so he is available. A couple of new position players signed this past week that are looking for their first action, but they'll have to wait a little longer because Jacob Goldfarb is staying in this ball game.
Attaboy.
With a 2-2 count, 2 outs, and 2 runners on for Wareham trying to draw first blood.
And Kettleers and Gatemen alike happy for Goldfarb that he's okay. Like we mentioned, the former Kettleer as recently as July 3rd.
McClarty comes to the belt. A big 2-2 home. On the outside corner, paints it for a called strike 3. Goldfarb is set down looking, and the Gatemen leave 2 stranded in scoring position in their first great scoring chance of the ball game. We're about to go on to the 3rd inning in a scoreless tie, but before we do, we have a very happy president of the Wareham Gatemen standing along with our own Merry Orders.
Southers Marsh Golf Club, 1 Cement Car. Pawtucket Red Sox, general admission seats. Iona Steamship Authority, high-speed round trip.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with our very own Tom Gay, Wareham Gatemen president. Tom, it's the first time we've won the Western Division since 2001. What does it mean for the organization?
Oh, I think it means an awful lot. We work hard all year, and to get to this point, being on top, it's a pickup for this league right now. You know what we're doing right now, playing in the playoffs. But this helps. Momentum will carry us, I'm hoping.
What are your expectations for the playoffs?
To win. No. Just the plays, the way we've played all summer. The guys played really hard, done a good job. That's all you can ask.
Lastly, you've been with the organization for over 20 years now, you and your wife, Sherry. What keeps you coming back each summer?
Sherry. No, we love it. Meeting people like yourself, the players, the organization. You know what the organization's like. We have 30, 40 different people who show up year-round for the winter meetings and stuff every month. They take care of everything we need to do. You know, it's just fun.
It is fun. Tom, thanks so much. Guys, back to you.
Knows the importance of a healthy smile. Dr. Kevin Oliveira and his team at Coast
Thank you to Mary and Tom Gay, as he and the rest of the Gatemen organization celebrating, as Mary said, their first regular season division title since 2001. Gatemen fans will remember the summer of 2001 as they won their first of back-to-back Cape League championships over the Chatham Anglers. I think a bit more salt in the wound for Anglers fans that year, back when they were the A's. That was the year Summer Catch came out.
Oof.
So they had their little publicity.
Yeah.
The Gatemen took it to them in the finals.
Yeah, it seems like every piece of nationwide publicity that the Cape League gets is centered around the Anglers.
So it wouldn't be unreasonable to think they are the most successful franchise as far as championships, but it's actually today's adversary, the Cotuit Kettleers, are 16-time champions of the Cape League. Gatemen have won 7 of their own as one of the most successful franchises in the league's history. 1-0 is going to run outside, and it's a 2-0 count now to Zach Humphreys, the catcher out of TCU.
And these two franchises also won their most recent titles in back-to-back years. Gatemen in 2012, Kettleers 2013.
This one misses to make it 3-0, and that Kettleers championship in 2013 was the last one captured by the Western Division. Since then, YD 3 straight times, and their opponent today, the Brewster Whitecaps, champions in 2017. 3-0, nowhere close, and a 4-pitch leadoff walk issued to Zach Humphreys by Ryan Garcia. Certainly not something he does very often, especially the 4-pitch variety.
No.
And up comes the Matt Damon doppelganger, Brady Smith. Florida Gator will stand in, playing third base.
That's only Humphreys' 10th walk of the year. Or excuse me, that is Garcia's 10th walk of the year, my apologies, in entering his 30th inning of work of the year.
First offering to Smith is the 5th straight out of the zone. And it's 1-0. And I was serious about that Smith thing. I know you know, Henrique. Just look it up. Brady Smith, Matt Damon. I mean, he could make some good money off that.
Yeah. No, it's like, what is it? There's a funny story about a Charlie Chaplin look-alike. Charlie Chaplin apparently once, he entered the contest anonymously.
Yeah, and won.
He won 3rd place at a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest. Which, I mean, he's one of the most memorable faces in history. So, I mean, he's one of those guys that would have a look-alike contest. But making an early, if this whole baseball thing doesn't work out, probably works a stunt double. Matt Damon, does action movies sometimes.
Yeah. Just occasionally. 1-1's going to be in there on the hook for strike 2.
That was nasty. That was a big looping breaking ball out of the hand of Garcia. He left it up, but it broke it broke inside to outside to the righty Smith. So not sure he would have been able to do much with it. Got a couple of disapproving grunts from Kettleers faithful here.
1-2 is going to be fouled straight back to keep the count there. And I'm thinking what Brady Smith can, get for free. Walk in, you'll probably see Brady Smith's face at a dry cleaners or something. Signs it as Matt Damon. I'm sure the co-eds at the University of Florida are on alert now that if someone says they're Matt Damon, it's probably not actually Matt Damon. But that probably worked for him for a while.
Yeah, you got to milk that one. Yeah.
As long as you can, anyway. I'm sure the SEC is on notice in general by this point. 1-2 is the count on him, though. He's already made a pretty nifty play down at third base back in the 1st inning. Garcia, after the leadoff walk, is looking to put him away. 1-2 is the count. And here he comes home. Missing up high, put things at 2-2.
Does seem like Garcia has his bearings a little more in order this time around against against Smith. Obviously Humphreys, 4-pitch walk issued, but 1-2 now 2-2 to Brady Smith.
2-2. That one drops right in the bucket on the outside corner for a called strike 3. Garcia keeps up that pace of more than a strikeout an inning. It's his 4th of the day. They're all brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And he freezes Brady Smith for out number 1.
That was a similar pitch to the pitch that registered strike 2. I talked about that really nasty breaking ball on the one, or that was the 1-1 pitch rather, to Brady Smith. That one a little better located, but I think absolutely a strike. Like you said, Cam, dropped in the bucket. Couldn't have said it better.
So now it flips back up to the top of the order in Will Robertson, who's late on this one and bounces it foul to put him down 0-1. Robertson, as we've mentioned this year, a Creighton Blue Jay. Obviously teammate at college, but also roommates with the Gatemen's Isaac Collins, who stands out in right field. Last time these two teams matched up, Robertson sent one off the wall in right field in Cotuit and was thrown out at second base from the warning track by his teammate Isaac Collins. This one's on the corner for a called strike 2, and what was one of the defensive plays of the year for the Gatemen.
Yeah, because Collins, initially, he didn't field that cleanly on his first try. He just kind of, at the second point, just kind of stabbed into the ground and just threw a missile down there to second base to, I guess it was Ryan Kreidler, waiting for the throw at short. Really, really awesome stuff from Collins, who's just adjusted remarkably to the right field position.
0-2 is sent out Collins' way. This time he will barely have to move as he pitches a tent and camps under it for the second out of the inning, and still having to stay at first base is Zach Humphreys, who got there with the walk.
Number 20, Michael Tolia.
So now Michael Tolia, who hit a ball hard his first time up, roped it down the first baseline to Lyle Lockhart, who snared it out of the air. Will stand in at 0 for 1 on the day. Big UCLA Bruin standing at 6'4". We saw him match up with another one of his teammates, Jack Ralston, last week, and they're both standing over 6'4". Looks like they could share a uniform, as this one misses outside for ball one. Definitely a lot slighter in that department anyway, Ryan Garcia. Today's starting pitcher for the Gatemen, as he stands at just 6'1". And as you mentioned earlier, that might be a little generous, as this one's cut on and missed by Tolia. Puts things at a ball and a strike.
And Tolia, I mentioned that stretch he went on from July 24th, 23rd, 24th, 25th, excuse me, we had 3 home runs on 4 hits and 7 RBIs. It's kind of funny. Peyton Burdick did that all in one game to start the season off.
Pretty interesting. As this one bounced in front of Martellini, they got a chance on him at second base, but he elects to eat it and let that man get into scoring position. It went just up the third base line. Elects not to throw, so the count runs to 2-1.
Yeah, that's obviously a tough decision there for Martellini. Might be the tempting option. We give Martellini the benefit of the doubt there. Obviously, he's been doing that a lot longer than any of us have. My catching career ended in middle school when I realized my freshman year of high school that guys threw breaking balls. I was just not about it. I promptly moved into the field. But Martellini opting, you know what? I trust Garcia to get out of this inning. No reason to make a mistake. Let a ball go into center field, put him at third with 2 outs.
And this one is going to cross up Martellini, and it goes all the way to the backstop. Taking a big turn around third is Humphreys. But now the Cotuit first run of the game stands 90 feet away, and there's all kinds of confusion between the battery right now.
Yeah, you don't like to see this. This is something we've never seen from Garcia, really. This kind of inconsistency as far as location, whether with the 4-pitch walk to Humphreys or a pair of wild pitches now. Martellini, a very solid defensive catcher, but making a couple mistakes here today.
And you saw Martellini, as soon as that pitch gets by him, has his hands up, asking where was that one to Garcia as he went to chase it down. Just not on the same page that time. And now it's 3-1 to a dangerous hitter. But Tolia will give him one back as he pops this one foul off to the left and out of play. And that sets up a huge pitch right now for Garcia. 3-2, 2 outs, and a man standing at third base, which would represent the first run of the game.
This is big. Give Martellini and Garcia both a chance to reset before they go back out for the 4th.
The payoff. Outside ball 4, and it's the second one issued of the inning for Garcia and the Gatemen. And now they're calling Tolia back. Was there time called before?
Wow.
It's the only explanation here is it was a 3-2 pitch, and they're bringing him up to the plate. Mike Roberts not really sure what's going on either.
I think he might be realizing what you said, Cam. I confess, I mean, it's kind of tough to tell, you know, with time called, especially if that pitch comes in right as the home plate umpire calls time, right as hands go up. You know, that might be some, I don't know, oftentimes you just kind of, when you see that pitch miss out of the zone, you just kind of go down to your scorebook, you assume it's a ball.
I think it might have been one of the base umpires. The 3-2 again is fouled straight back. New life for Ryan Garcia, because we didn't see anything from the man behind home plate.
Yeah.
So it might very well have been one of the other 3 that are out here today, a 4-man crew for the playoffs instead of the normal 3. And heck, the last time the Gatemen saw the field, it was a 2-man crew by the end of the game against Bourne. Obviously, different stakes, a different scenario right here. Garcia to the belt. His payoff once again. In there for a called strike 3. You can't give him a lifeline. And he strikes out his second of the inning. Mike Roberts certainly does not like it on the Cotuit side, but the Kettleers leave a man stranded at third base, and we head to the bottom of the third. Thankfully for Wareham, still scoreless on the Gatemen Baseball Network, and when we come back, we'll have our first playoff look around the league with our beat writer, Ian Becerra.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Get Gatemen gear. Check out the latest styles and colors of your favorite Gatemen apparel. Also in stock, a large selection of Cape League items, including tickets to the All-Star Game. Test your pitching speed and pick up a souvenir ball, all at our merchandise booth.
Time for the first look around the Cape League playoff edition today. So one game actually did not get underway today. That is the game at Hyannis. The Falmouth Commodores and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is postponed due to poor field conditions. We had a lot of rain down here in the Cape yesterday, and the Hyannis field does not drain well. So they are postponed, and they will begin their series tomorrow night. Harwich and Chatham is also getting their game underway in a few moments as well. That game was scheduled to begin at 7 o'clock. And then over in YD, the game between the Brewster Whitecaps and the YD Red Sox is one strike away from going final. We'll keep you updated on that and see exactly what happens. Currently, Brewster is up 5-4 as the Whitecaps scored 4 runs in the second inning before YD scored 4 in the fifth to tie the game up. Ray Alejo with the big hit in this one with a triple in the 7th inning to give the Brewster Whitecaps the lead. And that's our Cape League update. And as soon as that game ends, Enrique and Cam will let you know.
Thank you to Ian as always. And looks like an upset is a brewing out in YD. The Whitecaps with that 5-4 lead. This one is cut on and missed by Ryan Kreidler to start things in the bottom of the third. Whitecaps with a pretty terrific run just to get into the postseason. And that game has just gone final. 5-4 over the East leading YD Red Sox, East regular season champion YD Red Sox, with 50-plus points on the year. We'll have to go to Stony Brook tomorrow and face elimination.
Wow.
As JD mentioned on our last broadcast, the Whitecaps at one point this year were on pace to be the worst team in Cape League history.
Cape League's been around a long time.
A long time. And these are the defending champs. Not that that means as much here in the Cape League with the roster turnover. But what a run they've had, as this one is a quick strikeout to Ryan Kreidler. He goes down on 3 pitches. And it's the first of the day for McLarty. And I think you have to couple that run with a great run the other way for the Orleans Firebirds as they just sputtered out the last 2 weeks of the season.
They lost 12 of their final 13 games of the year. How do you let that happen?
Is that good, Enrique?
That is not good. That is actually very not good. Very bad, I think you could say, and you wouldn't be mistaken in doing so. I mean, just an atrocious meltdown, especially with the talent on that roster. It's really
especially
surprising.
Offensively.
Yeah.
They can really light up a scoreboard out there in Orleans.
No, they're loaded.
But nonetheless, it's the Whitecaps who are in the playoffs and are making the most of it. Gatemen looking to do so here in this third inning as Isaac Collins fouls this one off. Put things at 1-1 with 1 out. Of course, we have to wait till tomorrow to see the start of the Falmouth Hyannis series. Of course, the winner of this one will face the winner of that one. So this misses up high 2-1 in that weird situation in Hyannis. Having obviously all the games rained out yesterday, leaving the sprinklers on too long at McKeon Park floods the field today.
Oh boy.
which sets up for quite a situation for the league, as this one's fouled to keep it at 2-2.
Yeah.
Because they build in one day. Originally going into the postseason, that Sunday the 12th is the last day of the postseason, but they build in the 13th just in case something like yesterday happens.
Yeah.
And so that's already built in, and Hyannis, with some mismanagement on the ground, you might say, now has to find a situation where they can fit in that time frame, as this one's cut on and missed by Collins, and Griffin McLarty, who is not much of a strikeout guy, puts down the first two swinging here in the third.
And he's got 3 straight Ks going back to Jacob Goldfarb, a very well located pitch on the outside corner to the lefty Oregon Duck. And Isaac Collins, unusual to see him chase like that, but he is a little bit more of an aggressive hitter. His strikeout numbers have gone up recently, but he's been able to still hit above 300, so you kind of take the good with the bad there. Because usually you see sometimes free swingers, power bats have high strikeout numbers, not usually from a contact guy like Collins, but like we said, he's been producing at the top of the lineup. He's been stealing a few more bases as of late. Another guy, Oliver Dunn, who started the year off in the 2-hole and dropped out of the lineup completely, but now with his resurgence has found himself back in his 2 spot.
He's been producing as of late, has a 2-0 count now, and now it's at 2-1, as that just touches the outside corner where the first pitch missed. This one finds the zone. That's the 40th pitch of the outing, with 2 outs in the bottom of the third for McLarty. 2-1. This one apparently just off from where the last pitch was.
That looked like the exact same pitch.
Sure did. 3 of those in this at-bat.
Yeah.
2 have been balls, 1 has been a strike. So now it's 3-1 with 2 outs and nobody aboard. And a bit of a shift on for the lefty Oliver Dunn, who will foul this one off and put things at 3-2.
Well, if Dunn's able to get aboard here, you would see the shift put, well, actually maybe with 2 outs, or actually rather with 2 outs, you would definitely see the shift put on. But the guy behind him, Shenton, was shifted on like crazy his last time up.
And this is really the only team we saw do it against him. Cotuit was definitely the first and the most consistent, with Mike Roberts at the helm, as this one is fouled back. Keep that count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Dunn, who was already 0 for 1 today. Bounced out to Brady Smith at third base his last time up. Payoff is going to be sent out towards center field. It's Chalmette coming in, and will come in on it all the way and make the catch for the out that retires the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Gatemen here in the third, and we head to the fourth. Still a scoreless tie here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Since 1950, Morse Insurance has consistently offered the best insurance at competitive rates to generations of clients in southern Massachusetts. If you're frustrated with paying for what essentially feels like just a piece of paper, it's time for you to check out the one-of-a-kind client experience that only Morse Insurance can deliver.
The 2018 Cape League All-Star Game will be played at White House Field in Harwich Sunday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., gates open at 2. One highlight will be the Cumberland Farms home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Support the Gatemen in part by purchasing your ticket right now at the merchandise booth. Tickets are just $5.
Head on over to BB's Bar and Grill for food, drinks, and fun. Located just off Cranberry Highway, come in to sample the scrumptious fare or relax with a drink while enjoying live entertainment. The Gatemen thank BB's Bar and Grill for their support.
And we go to the fourth inning with Ryan Garcia still on the mound, battling in a scoreless tie. He left a man stranded at third base his last time out there, as he got Michael Tolia to strike out looking after it looked like he had walked him on the 3-2 count. But instead he leaves that man stranded, and that's why there's still zeros across the scoreboard here at Spillane Field. In Game 1 of the Western Division semifinals, first round of the Cape League playoffs, a best-of-3 series brought to you by all of us here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. But today, Enrique Demore alongside me, Cameron Stewart, as it is 3-4-5 due up in the Kettleer order. Trey Jacobs, designated hitter, will start things off. First one from Garcia runs inside for ball one. And we mentioned the pitch count for McLarty. It's worse off for Garcia, actually. That was his 51st pitch through 3+. Cut on and miss, puts things at 1-1. The way we've seen it go all year, Easton Lucas would probably be the guy, first man we see out of the Wareham bullpen today. No one warming right now, but that typically the rotation the Gatemen go with. Their 2 all-star pitchers. This one missing well up high. Martellini has to come out of the crouch, and things are at 2 balls and a strike to Jacobs.
Yeah, it's almost like your guaranteed win 1-2 punch, right? So you say, there's a school of thought that says, why not spread them out if they're your 2 best guys? Another school of thought that the Gatemen employ here is that one is lasered, caught.
Jeremy Idens with the slide on a sinking line drive. That looked labeled for a single. But Jeremy Idens picking up where Skylar Hunter leaves off defensively. Hunter certainly the best defensive outfielder on the team, but Idens not too far behind, and he shows you why right there.
Only the second really hard hit ball of the day. Tolia with 1, Trey Jacobs now with 1. Big out there, as I think all Gatemen fans knowing the curse of the 1 seed, and especially after Brewster able to knock off YD at Red Wilson Field. I mean, the Cotuit Kettleers here are playing with nothing to lose. The Gatemen have something to lose. Obviously a historic season, even though the Gatemen did win the ship in 2012 and knocked off the 1 seed last year. So the Gatemen all too familiar with knocking off 1 seeds for better or for worse. But Wareham trying to buck the trend here against an upstart Cotuit team in game 1 of these semifinals.
And as we mentioned on the Gatemen Pregame Show, which you can catch on our Wareham Gatemen YouTube channel, no 1 seed has won the Cape League Championship since that expanded. The playoffs did in 2010. This one misses from Garcia to put ahead in the count Corey Wood, 2-1. And in that span as well, whoever wins game 1 of the series, the best of 3, has won 42 of 56. So definitely imperative for the Gatemen to protect their home field advantage today as things go to 2-2 on Wood. This one going to miss outside. No offer. Another full count for Garcia to deal with.
And the Gatemen have been dominant at home. 15-6 at Spillane Field. 15-7 technically if you count the game they played as the home team at Hartford. Very important game 1 though regardless.
This one's going to be wasted off to the left. Keeps that count full. Wood is 0 for 1 today. He was the second strikeout victim of Ryan Garcia. He has set down 5 in all. He reaches out to get this one, and it's trouble, but it will land on the foul side as Austin Shenton was shaded more off to the left and gave it a long run, but could not catch up to it. So with 1 out and the base is empty, the payoff once again going to miss up high. And this time, no time called, and Corey Wood will go down to first base with what is now the second walk of the game issued by Garcia.
I thought we had one there to Tolia. And you and I, bookkeepers in pen. Did you mark that down as a walk?
No, I hadn't had it down yet, actually.
Okay, you got lucky. Yeah, that's what I get for being on color and just focusing on my book here.
I think that was the stroke of luck after we had to change 3 names around at about 6:25 on the scorecard before a 6:30 game.
Yeah, Duke Ellis, obviously, for those that weren't with us pre-game, caught a little bit of a heat stroke. It was a hot day and still decently muggy here at Spillane Field, but the temp was topping out in the high 80s earlier today.
1-0 is going to be fisted in the direction of Austin Shenton, and it clanks off his glove with the leap. And that's how Michael Salvatore will reach for the second time today. We'll see how it's scored, but Henrique Should you let that go through to Kreidler?
Maybe you at least got to talk on it. I mean, we're not down there. We don't know what sort of communication they had. The shortstop is the captain of the outfield. Obviously, usually that comes more into effect on high pop-ups and stuff like that. But to be fair, Shenton had a beat on it. Like you said, it just kind of clanged out of his glove. It's unfortunate. Now, is that one ruled an error? Salvatore on here twice on errors. Now here comes Rafe Shamet. 2 on, 1 away, still scoreless here in the fourth.
Established in 1877, TM Ryder.
So far for the Gatemen as Shamet swings and misses through the first one. And that's something that when the Gatemen had their struggles in about mid-July, defensively things began to fall off, as well as the offensive power struggles, and that's something the Gatemen can't revert back to here in this postseason.
No.
0-1, misses outside to even things up. And another scoring chance for Cotuit. As we mentioned, they had a man stranded at third to end the last inning. Now men at first and second, with only one out in the fourth. Garcia looks back at that man at second, 1-1 home. It's going to be sent off to the left foul to put things at 1-2. Shamet flew out to right field his first time up, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. Garcia's 1-2, gonna miss down low and in. On a breaking ball, evens up 2 balls and 2 strikes as Shamet, who was just recently signed by Cotuit, is still looking for his first hit on the Cape. Now in his second game, 0 for 5 with the 0 for 1 today.
What a big spot this is. He was the late addition there as Duke Ellis was scratched at the last second to come up with an RBI here.
2-2. It's going to be popped up behind shortstop, and onto the left field grass is Ryan Kreidler, who will haul it in. A big out to get for Garcia as neither runner can advance, and they stay at first and second with now 2 outs, and with Peyton Burdick coming up.
Burdick 0 for 5 in the most recent contest that was played by the Kettleers, that season ender at Falmouth. That was actually Cotuit's first win against Falmouth all year. It did so in 5-4 fashion at home, but of course that game didn't end up mattering because at that point in the game before, because obviously every team in the Cape ended with a home and home with the team geographically closest to them. So Cotuit matching up with Falmouth in that one, and Falmouth handed it to Cotuit 7-2 the day before, so they were able to clinch third. So Cotuit with not a ton to play for, but still managed to eke out a win for pride against the Commodores.
In a meeting on the mound that we do not usually see. This is only the second time that I can recall all year that Don Snedden has been the man to come out to the mound to talk to his pitcher.
Yeah.
Almost always pitching coach Jim Lawler, but for the exception of that regular season finale at Bourne, where Jim Lawler was out in the bullpen, the Gatemen had signed 3 new pitchers, so felt he needed to see what they had before sending them into the game. But Snedden goes out there for a quick chat with Garcia ahead of this big at-bat for Peyton Burdick, who is already 0 for 1 today. First offering to him. Does he hold up that swing? He does. Looked awfully close, but Burdick lays off for ball 1, 1-0. Catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. And that's a pitch Garcia had going early in this one, Henrique. That outside corner, whether it be to lefties or righties, actually, he was painting both corners rather well. But he started to lose it as he's lost a bit of his control the last inning or two. One, cut on and missed. Elevated one there from Garcia. 1-2 now with 2 outs and a chance to get out of it just like that.
That fastball up and away, Cam, like you alluded to. He's managed to place both his breaking pitch and his fastball at that location to, like you said, both righties and lefties. We'll see what he can do here. 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning and his 6th strikeout of the day.
Garcia's 1-2 is going to be popped up on the infield. It's Kreidler calling everyone off and will make the catch for the third out of the inning. And once again, Garcia leaves him stranded. This time leaves 2 on the base paths for the Kettleers. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still scoreless here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The law firm of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard, providing families and businesses in the greater New Bedford community with legal services for 40 years. We look forward to serving you. For an appointment, call 508-992-1270. We invite you to learn more about the law firm of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard by visiting our website, lxblaw.com.
Stop by the Ansel S. Gurney House, where you will find a unique shopping and dining experience. Whether shopping for a special occasion or just to treat yourself, you'll find what you're looking for in one of the 11 themed rooms. There's also a cafe serving fresh homemade lunches overlooking the extensive gardens. The Ansel S. Gurney House is located at 403 County Road in Marion.
The Bay Point Golf Club offers a unique collection of 18 championship golf holes, a beautiful banquet facility, and a club host that has a fully stocked pro shop. The Bay Point Grill is a perfect place to grab a meal or watch a game. The course is located off of Onset Avenue in Buzzards Bay. The Gatemen thank you for your support.
It is time to play the bottom of the fourth here from Spillane Field in Game 1 of the Western Division semifinals between the Cotuit Kettleers and the host Wareham Gatemen. Neither of those teams has been able to push a run across today, as it's still 0-0. Hard the order coming up for Wareham. 3-4-5, Austin Shenton, Jeremy Idens, and Gian Martellini are due up in the inning against Griffin McLarty, who's been pretty good so far. Has only allowed 1 hit. That is single by Drew Millis back in the second inning. The Gatemen have left 2 men stranded. The other 2 innings have been of the 1-2-3 variety. As the first pitch misses down low and in to Shenton, 1-0. And only 44 pitches for McLarty through the first 3 innings. 1-0 misses down low, 2-0. Shenton's 0 for 1 today. He skied one out to Peyton Burdick in left field to end the first inning. One of those 2 1-2-3 innings. 2-0. Shenton is going to send this one out to deep right center field. This one's still going back all the way to the wall. Looking up, it's gone! Austin Shenton with his 5th homer of the year, his 3rd in the past week for Wareham. And he puts them on the board first here in Game 1, 1-0 Gatemen.
Hit that one to the deepest part of the park, and Shenton, he got under it. Didn't get too much help from the wind either, because like you said, Cam, usually blowing out there to right center. Today, now no breeze at all. Austin Shenton, 3rd homer in like you said, a week. What a big spot to break this one open. I think give everyone here a little sigh of relief, as the Gatemen had run into some hairy situations on the base pads. Cotuit able to get 3 runners on via 2 walks, a couple walks and a couple errors. Garcia came out of a big jam for the 2nd time today, and heart of this order delivers. Best pure hitter on this Gatemen team comes up big. 1-0 good guys.
This one's in there for a called strike to Jeremy Idens. Gatemen finally coming through, just their 2nd hit of the game, but it leaves the ball yard. This one just misses inside. Ball and a strike. Good crowd on hand here today for both teams.
Yeah.
Here as they certainly come out for the Cape League playoffs. 2 pretty good fan bases in Wareham and Cotuit. As this one sent out to shallow right field as the first baseman Tolia moving back on it. And McLarty bounces back after giving up the homer. He gets Jeremy Idens to pop out and retires him for the first time today. So now Gian Martellini was a bit fortunate as last time up. After the Jeremy Idens walk, he bounced to second base and looked like he had been doubled up on his way to first, but reached on the fielder's choice. Comes on with the bases empty and 1 out. He takes this one down low for ball 1. Martellini at 243 on the year. Again, just the one homer, but 6 RBI and 4 doubles for him. 317 on base percentage, and he's in a hitter's count right now. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0. This one's rocketed to deep left center field. Gian Martellini is going to die down as Chamet is going to camp under it for the second out of the inning. He gave that thing a ride, but it just died out there in left center.
And that one, to me anyway, looked harder hit off the bat than the one that Shenton hit. There's just a different sound off the bat. Sometimes you can just tell, right, with the crack of the bat, especially with wood bats. And Martellini, but those are the kind of flyouts he produces. Long ones into the power alleys. Martellini, like we said, just 1 home run on the year, but has been a Kettleer killer and has shown pop all year. And I think we first saw that kind of because we know he's a big kid, right? I mean, he's built like that, and he's one of these guys that even at Boston College is a power hitter, bats below 250, above the Mendoza line, but like 220, 230. But he's a power bat, 5-hole lineup. He's there for his power, and he cleared the Green Monster at Fenway. I think that was when I, anyway, truly appreciated, this guy could be a good pinch hitter, a good spot starter against certain matchups that he's favorable in to provide some power to a Gatemen lineup that for a while there, like you mentioned, Cam, during that kind of middle third of the season where Wareham was mired in mediocrity without the power there, and Martellini has been one of those guys to step up and give the Gatemen more of that.
Drew Millis going to bounce this one foul off to the third base side to put him behind the count 1-2. This guy who's had power numbers all throughout college, but this season more of an average guy for Drew Millis as the bat has heated up for him in the last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of singles from the switch hitting typical catcher, but today designated hitter. He's putting together good at-bats like this. He's still down 1-2, but he's wasted a few now. That average up to 261 on the year for Millis. He's going to bounce this one foul down the first base side to keep things at 1-2 with 2 outs and no one aboard. Millis with just 3 extra base hits, 3 doubles, no triples, no homers, and 7 RBI. 1-2, catches the inside corner, a good-looking pitch from Griffin McLarty, and he earns his 4th strikeout of the game. Big blast for Austin Shenton, makes it 1-0 Gatemen. And to talk more about those Wareham Gatemen, our Mariota's caught up with our beat writer, Ian Vicera, down on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. So, Ian, what are some reasonable expectations for the team in playoffs?
Well, Mary, I think they have a good chance to win it all, honestly. I mean, you're the 1 seed out in your division, so clearly you have the talent. You've done it all season long. It's just going to be, can you put it together in the postseason, which is the hardest thing, make a good run and play good baseball.
You talk about putting it together, it being a little bit hard. Who needs to come up big for the Gatemen in order to make a playoff push?
Well, I think it's going to have to be the pitching. We've seen Ryan Garcia do a good job out there today. 4 innings so far, hasn't allowed a run. It's going to come down to the pitching, as it always is in baseball. If you can put up zeros, eventually your offense can come through and get some runs.
Garcia has had quite a good game today. Who else has come out and shown out for the Gatemen tonight?
Well, I mean, we just saw it that last inning. Austin Shenton with the big fly right there to put Wareham up. And I think that's another big thing, too. If you get guys like him and Jeremy Idens, the run producers in this lineup, hitting for extra bases, this team's going to go pretty far.
What do we need to do to get the win tonight?
I think it's just going to be more of putting up zeros on the board. As we've seen with Garcia, he's doing a great job out there. And just, who's going to follow him? Just put up those zeros and play some good defense behind him.
Ian, thanks so much for your insight. Guys, back to you.
Thank you to Mary and to Ian. As we look ahead for the Gatemen in this postseason, they have the first run in it on that Austin Shenton home run. It's still Ryan Garcia out there on the mound for the 5th inning, protecting his first lead of the day. And he will get a favorable part of the order, 8, 9, and 1, starting with Zach Humphreys, who has reached base today, led off the 3rd inning with a 4-pitch walk and was stranded at third base. What was undoubtedly the best scoring chance of the day for Cotuit. First offering to him this time is in there for a strike, so he's off to a better start this time around. It's 0-1. Humphreys out of DeSoto, Texas, 232 on the year, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBI. Takes this one down low to even things at 1-1. Also has a .357 on base percentage as pretty much the everyday catcher for the Kettleers. This one's on the outside corner, 1-2. Although we have seen some other guys suit up, even in the games against the Gatemen behind home plate. Brady Smith is the third baseman for them today. We've also seen him at second. He's gone behind the plate. And our own Jacob Goldfarb in that July 3rd game ended it behind the plate. So this one misses down low to the Gatemen catcher, Gian Martellini. And they will say Humphreys did not swing, so that puts things at 2-2 with nobody out and nobody aboard. Two cut on and miss, strike 3. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. It is the 6th of the day for Ryan Garcia, and he just keeps on keeping on in that department.
4th swinging K of the day on the fastball, on the breaking ball, like I said earlier. And Garcia really is at his best when he's got both those pitches working. He's got a changeup he mixes in there sometimes, but with put-out pitches, it is exclusively those two.
Now deals to Brady Smith as he delivers strike 1 to the Florida Gator, who was 0 for 1 today. He was another one of those strikeout victims looking back in the 3rd inning. This one going to miss just a bit inside, although Martellini was set a bit up outside to put things at a ball and a strike. This one going to miss up and away this time to Smith, 2-1. Garcia's 2-1, a big hack and nothing doing for Smith. So he got a pitch in a location where he liked but could not catch up to it. And he's now in danger of his 2nd strikeout at the plate today, 2-2.
In this inning, Garcia has looked like his best self. He's controlling the tempo. He's not allowing these Cotuit hitters any sort of chance to get their feet under.
This one going to miss down low to run the count full. You mentioned it, Garcia's worked around a couple of hiccups today. And like a fine wine, it's getting better with age, it seems. 84 pitches on the night. With 1 out here in the 5th, got to imagine this could be his last inning. And you never know, could be these guys' last starts of the year, as this one is a swing and a miss from Brady Smith. That's back-to-back for Ryan Garcia, and 7 in all. And they're all brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard, the official strikeout sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen. Flip it back up to the top of the order, and Will Robertson will stand in. He is 0 for 2 today and comes on with 2 outs and nobody aboard. And he goes the same way as Brady Smith, a swing and a miss at the first pitch on that elevated fastball that got him for the K in the 1st inning, puts him down 0-1 here in the 5th.
Those fastballs upstairs. I mean, I don't know a ton about spin rate and all that, and really how to, measure that as a casual observer of the game. My goodness, another one there. But from what I've heard, I mean, I live with Isaac Collins, right, the Gatemen right fielders. I asked him, when Garcia came in, I said, what have you seen from him? He's like, he's a little guy. I mentioned that, because of that, he's able to push his fastball up more. It's a bit of a wonky angle. That one misses upstairs. But the first start of the year, I asked him that question because the first start of the year that he had against Orleans sat down 9 Firebirds via the strikeout in 4 innings of work. And about 6 of them were on these hacks and misses at these, what looked like meatballs, at the chest or shoulder level, or at least meatballs maybe that you shouldn't be swinging at.
This one he goes downstairs with to even things at 2-2. Robertson, as I mentioned, a strikeout victim in the 1st, flew out to his college teammate Isaac Collins in right field in the 3rd. The 2-2, swing and a miss. He drops the hammer that time on the breaking ball, and strikes out the side in order. They're all brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. And Ryan Garcia just keeps the ball moving. Still 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 5th here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Are you hungry? Visit the concession stand for some new menu items. Try fried dough, chicken fingers, or french fries along with your regular favorites, hot dogs, burgers, cold drinks, and ice cream. Proceeds from the concession stand support the Gatemen and the Wareham High DECA program. Got legal trouble? Attorney Mark Deshays is here to help the greater New Bedford area with real estate and business law, estate planning, and probate. Visit him today.
Founded in 1854, the Wareham-based AD Makepeace Company is the world's largest cranberry grower and private property owner in eastern Massachusetts. The company supports organizations like the Wareham Gatemen and projects like the outdoor cranberry bog classroom that you may have passed on your way in. Visit admakepeace.com to learn more.
As we are halfway through this one, we head to the bottom of the 5th, a 1-0 score in favor of the Gatemen. Griffin McClarty, starter for Cotuit, is still out there. Here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, alongside me, Henrique DeMore. I'm Cameron Stewart, bringing you Game 1 of this best-of-3 series between the number 1 seed Wareham Gatemen and the number 4 seed Cotuit Kettleers. Lyle Lockhart will get things started for the Gatemen in this 5th. 7-8-9, so behind him, Jacob Goldfarb, and then Ryan Kreidler due up. This was a part of the order that Henrique had highlighted in the pregame that, again, you can catch on our YouTube channel. This one catches the corner for strike 1, and mainly this guy, Henrique, Lyle Lockhart, you said is someone who will need to continue his hot hitting.
Yeah, he's been hitting with power, not as much with consistency. With more consistency, absolutely, as of late, but not the type that he would like and not the type that he hit with at Houston this past year. His sophomore campaign hit just a shade under 300. Again, he hits from both sides of the plate. There's yet another switch-hitting bat, and a really switch-heavy Gateman lineup, at least at its peak, was Zahid Valenzuela, another guy who could bat from both sides of the dish. Now Lockhart here down 0-2.
Yeah, Lockhart does not take the bat off his shoulder that time and pays the price. Good-looking pitch from McClarty is a call on strike 3, and he gets him good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 3 pitches Lockhart has set down. And dating back to the last inning, that's back-to-back for McClarty, both looking. And that his 5th of the day ahead of Jacob Goldfarb. Big swing and a miss from him. He was one of the 5 victims. He struck out back in the 2nd inning, which left 2 men in scoring position. Runners at 2nd and 3rd for Wareham in that one. 0-1. This one floats outside. Ball 1. Another swing and a miss. Goldfarb not catching up to Griffin McClarty's stuff so far tonight. He's down 1-2. He almost looked injured and out of it in his last at-bat. Fouled one right off his ankle. Had to have the trainers come out, walked it off before that strikeout. He's going to battle here as he sends this one straight back to the chain-linked fence to keep things at 1-2 with 1 out and nobody on. One, 2. This one missing up high. Goldfarb not going to go after it. That evens things at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Goldfarb, another guy being shifted on here by the Cotuit defense. Salvatore darn near up the middle. Wood playing right in between the 3-4 hole.
That one did not miss by much on the 2-2. 70th pitch of the night for McClarty. Misses outside, though, to run the count full.
Big break there. Goldfarb, bit of a menace on the base paths. If you could get him aboard here with 1 out, that'd be big.
Swing and a miss. Goldfarb goes down for the 2nd time today. 3rd in a row for Griffin McClarty. we got to stop saying at some point that he's not a strikeout guy, because he has delivered against the Gatemen so far.
Yeah, 6 and 4 2/3. He's looked untouchable. Only guy really to get a hold of one, obviously. Austin Shinton took him deep. Gian Martellini, another a big a big bat who with a long fly out in the 4th inning. But McLarty with that 5+ ERA, he's not the Cotuit ace, but he has been their hottest pitcher going into the playoff run here. So Cotuit going with the hot hand, and it's paid off so far. They trail here, but more a byproduct of Ryan Garcia than anything else.
And you saw there is some action in the Cotuit bullpen. It's a right-hander who is familiar with Wareham, Ryan Leffner out of the University of St. Louis. Has already appeared against the Gatemen twice this year. He's the man warming up. 0-1 to Ryan Kreidler, missing outside for ball 1, 1-1. He went down on 3 pitches, his first and only time up back in the 3rd inning. Strikeout victim. And he is in danger of being a strikeout victim again as he fouls this one off to the right. He's now down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes here in the 5th. One-two, swing and a miss, and that is a strikeout in order for Griffin McLarty in the 5th. As we head to the 6th here on the Gatemen Baseball Network, 1-0 Wareham.
Located in Wareham Crossing, Coastal Orthodontics, longtime sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen, knows the importance of a healthy smile. Dr. Kevin Oliveira and his team at Coastal Orthodontics are a patient-focused practice, delivering professional, effective orthodontic treatment based on the individual clinical needs of each patient, resulting in beautiful smiles in a timely manner. With 10 years of experience using Invisalign, Coastal Orthodontics uses the most up-to-date dental equipment.
Village Signs of Mattapoisett. They do it all, from logo design, trucks and buildings, to boats. Village Signs has proudly served Southern New England for over 35 years. Visit them at villagesignsinc.com for all your signage needs. The Gatemen wish to thank Patty Wild and the trustees of the John Wild Charitable Trust for their continued support of Gatemen Baseball in Wareham.
We are back here for the 6th inning at Spillane Field, home of the Wareham Gatemen, who lead at 1-0. And we have our first pitching change of the game, and it's brought to you by the Bay Point Club, Onset's 18-hole championship golf course. With a driving range open 7 days a week and senior discounts offered every day and always welcome to the public, so go and get to the point. From All-Star to All-Star, we move from the right-handed Ryan Garcia to the left-handed Easton Lucas, both representing the West in the All-Star game a few weeks ago, and this is the normal 1-2 punch that we see. Lucas out of Pepperdine with a 1-2 record on the year, but a 2.28 ERA. In this, his 8th appearance, the 5th out of the bullpen, and in 23 2/3, he has given up 6 earned runs, has struck out 17, and has walked 8.
The only blip on his radar was an uncharacteristic meltdown against the Brewster Whitecaps, who it was that game, really, that, Garcia had another awesome start and earned the no decision as Lucas melted down a little bit to the Whitecaps and started them on that pace to rally up, as obviously Orleans, like you mentioned, melted down, able to sneak into the playoffs for the Whitecaps, a team that looked dead in the water before blowing out the best team in the West in Wareham. 8-1 at their own place. Wareham ended up splitting the season series 2-2 with Brewster. They won the 2 at Spillane, lost the 2 at Stony Brook. But Lucas, other than that, has been absolutely untouchable. Not really a strikeout guy, much more a pitch-to-contact guy. But Garcia got it done both ways as well. Obviously, the 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, over 5 no-hit innings for Ryan Garcia. Didn't want to say it before he left, but Cotuit without a hit in this ballgame.
They will turn to Michael Tolia to try and get off the schneid in that category, as this one is on the outside corner for a called strike. Switch hitting first baseman has switched over to the right side for the first time today, and he is 0 for 2. Lined out to Lyle Lockhart at first base and struck out in that eventful at-bat to end things in the 3rd that left a man stranded at 3rd. 1-1's the count to him from Lucas, who has pitched against Cotuit this year. That back on the July 12th matchup. a 2-2 tie over at Lowell Park. And one of his best outings of the year, only gave up 1 earned run in 4 1/3, scattered 3 hits, struck out 2, didn't walk anybody. Now falls behind the UCLA Bruin, Michael Tolia, 2-1. This 2-1 offering is going to be rocketed out to deep left field. If this one's fair, it's a tie ball game, and it will be a foul ball.
Man, oh man. Mentioned that Tolia, one of the more powerful bats in this Cotuit lineup, one of the more powerful bats in the Cape League. Almost went 1-for-1 with Austin Shenton there, a solo shot. Easton Lucas got away with one there, and now 1 pitch away from striking out Tolia.
And that one was absolutely tattooed, and Enrique, that thing had a head of steam heading right for my car. Right for it. It's right up past the left field entrance.
Tragedies of comparable magnitudes avoided here.
Yeah, you can work with a 1-1 tie. I think that might be it for the 0-1 Camry, though, if that happens. This one is on the infield. Oliver Dunn is under it at second base, and he will make the catch for the first out of the inning. So Tolia today thinks he has a walk. Time is called. He comes back, gets a strikeout. Thinks he has a home run this time. That's foul off to the left and pops out to Oliver Dunn. So tough day at the plate for him as he moves to 0 for 3. And now Trey Jacobs will stand in. 1 out. Nobody aboard the base paths. He is also 0 for 2 today. First offering to him is going to miss up and away. He bounced out to second base back in the first inning. Flew out to Jeremy Idens. And that nice sinking line drive, the diving catch he made to open things up in the 4th. This one does catch the outside corner. Good frame job by Gian Martellini. Evens things at a ball and a strike. One missing away. Two-one, elevated pitch, and not a very good-looking swing from Jacobs, unable to connect. Evens things at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, and the base is empty. And this one is going to be sliced foul back to the backstop, and it looks like it caught a piece of Gian Martellini, who's shaking things off as the umpire runs out the baseball to Easton Lucas. Here comes Lucas's 2-2 home. Just off the outside corner.
Boy, oh boy.
4-3.
Did not miss by much. Trey Jacobs given new life here.
The payoff. This one's going to be bounced foul down the third baseline.
Trey Jacobs, one of the few guys you see in the NCAA who makes the jump from D1 down to D2. Spent his first couple years, a redshirt year, and then his redshirt freshman year at UNC Greensboro, then to UNC Pembroke of D2 this past year.
And with the new life in this at-bat, he gets the first Cotuit hit of the day with 1 out in the 6th inning. He lines one into center field for a solid single.
Jacobs, limited time at the Cape, hasn't done much offensively, but what a career. A short one, to be fair, but he's had so far for the UNC Pembroke Braves. Hit .417 this year. Division II ball clearly suiting him a lot better. Fantastic campaign for him, and also saw him slug .700 with 11 home runs and 28 doubles in 54 games. For those of you that don't know, That's very, very good.
Certainly not bad. And from a man who plays college baseball in North Carolina to one who plays it in South Carolina, Coastal's Corey Wood takes strike one over the outside corner. Oh, one, a feeble swing and a miss at a pitch down low in the dirt. Certainly not what he was expecting out of the left hand of Easton Lucas, and now it's 0-2.
Yeah, thing looked like someone had a string on the bottom of it and just yanked it. But Wood obviously upset with himself there. And Easton Lucas now very much in the driver's seat.
Lucas is 0-2. Wood will send it out to short center field. It's Kreidler moving out, who will go out and make the catch. The rangy shortstop reels it in for the second out of the inning.
Trey Jacobs with a missile out to center field, but a couple of high infield-esque pop-ups off the bats of the 2 and 4 hitters, and Michael Tolia and Corey Wood. And Wood, interestingly enough, a guy who has batted kind of all over the order this year for Cotuit. We haven't seen him much in this power hole, this 3-4 hole. It's not like his power numbers have gone up that much either.
And now it's time for the Gatemen defense to be on high alert as Mike Salvatore will stand in. He has reached base twice today, both via Gatemen errors, the only 2 of the day. An error by Kreidler, his first time up in the second inning, and then one by Austin Shenton, his last time up in the 4th. He is ahead of the count 1-0. Salvatore at 287 on the Cape this year. Takes this one low and in. Puts himself further ahead of the count, 2-0. 5 doubles, a triple, a couple of homers, 14 RBI, and a nice looking .314 on base percentage. That'll go up today. Lucas's 2-0 is going to run outside to the right-hander. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Does not get the job done. It misses off the outside corner. And it's the first walk issued by Easton Lucas. The third issued by Gatemen pitching today, and 2 of them have come on the via the 4-pitch variety. And now Rafe Chaumet will stand in, another guy who's 0 for 2. Obviously, as the only hit has come today for the Cotuit Kettleers in this inning. Trey Jacobs with the single. He stands at second base with now Mike Salvatore at first for the 3rd time today.
And for the most part, Gatemen pitching has been able to bounce back from these 4-pitch walks. But Cotuit all of a sudden with a pretty good chance to try to get back into this one. Go ahead run at first in Mike Salvatore. Game time run obviously in scoring position. Rafe Chaumet 0 for 2 today, but searching for his first Cape League hit of the year out of Trinity down in Texas.
Not to be mistaken, of course, with Trinity College out of the NESCAC, not a bantam, staying in his home state of Texas for college baseball. Trinity Tiger is ahead of Easton Lucas, 1-0 with 2 outs and 2 men aboard. And this one going to miss above the letters. 2-0 and 6 straight out of the zone for Lucas. Kettleers, while they have only managed 1 hit today, put together some long at-bats. It's about a 90-pitch outing for Ryan Garcia. This next pitch will be the 23rd of the inning for Easton Lucas. And it's finally in there for a strike. 2-1. It's going to be skied foul. It will get out of play out behind our press box. So now the count goes to 2-2. 2 men out, 2 men aboard. A big pitch upcoming for Easton Lucas to keep this at a 1-0 lead. And here is the left-hander's 2-2. Sent out to center field, twisting and turning is Jeremy Idens, but he will camp on under it and reel it in for out number 3. Cotuit leaves 2 stranded, and we are on to the bottom of the 6th with the Gatemen up 1-0 here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And when we come back, we'll have our second and final look around the league tonight with our beat writer Ian Vicera, so stick around.
One of the Gatemen's favorite places for their post-game meals is Cool Cone, where you can get anything from fried clams and fried chicken to an ice cream sundae, and then top it all off with a round of mini golf. Cool Cone, located on Route 6 on the Wareham-Marion line. Wareham House of Pizza has been serving Wareham and Marion for over 40 years with steak and cheese, pizza, and subs. Located in Shaw's Plaza, head on over for pickup or let them deliver to you. Established in 1877, TM Ryder is a family-run insurance agency located in downtown Middleborough, Massachusetts. TM Ryder's goal is to find the best coverage at a fair rate for their customers, but they really value giving the best service they can provide. Visit the office on Thatcher's Row if you would like P&C insurance information, quotes, and policies.
And it's time for the second and final look around the Cape League. As previously announced, the Hyannis and Falmouth game was postponed today due to poor field conditions. Over in YD, the Brewster Whitecaps upset the Red Sox 5-4, as the Whitecaps are now 1 game away from moving on to the second round, and they'll return home to Brewster tomorrow to do that game. And then over in Chatham, the other game going on across the league, the Anglers are up 4-1. That game is in the bottom of the 3rd inning at last look. And in that game, a home run by Kyle McCann to the opposite field gave the Anglers a 2-1 lead when they were previously down 1-0. That's the Cape League update, and I'm staying here with you, Cam.
We are excited to keep Ian on here for this part of the broadcast as the count runs to 2-0 on Isaac Collins. Ian, you could be the Will Ferrell of this. You could hit every position tonight before we're done with you.
Yeah,
Give Mary the rest of the night off, too. Have you go down on the sideline.
Yeah, might as well at this point.
You're pretty much almost all the way there as this one catches the outside corner. Put one on Isaac Collins, now 2-1. Collins is 0 for 2 today. Flew out in the first inning, struck out in the 3rd. All off the starter who's still in there, Griffin McClarty. And this time he's going to send one up the middle for a base hit against him. Leadoff single for Isaac Collins gets the Gatemen in business in the bottom of the 6th.
And now, Cam, this is where we can look to see the Gatemen try to be aggressive here out there, whether we see a straight-up Isaac Collins steal, a hit and run. Oliver Dunn's a great guy with the bat, so it's going to be interesting now to see what happens, as it looks like we might have a pitching change.
We will see what happens, but it will not be off Griffin McClarty. He has to give up the baseball, and it will be the first call to the bullpen for the Kettleers today. We'll give you that new pitcher when we come back after this short break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Beach House Grill at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa is the perfect spot for a seaside lunch or evening clam bake. A proud member of leading hotels of the world.
One of the area's best restaurants is located right up the street, Brewfish Bar and Eatery. Brewfish offers 20 rotating craft beers on tap and creative pub food. Check out their off-the-menu brunch with a Bloody Mary bar and $5 mimosas on Sundays. Join us for outdoor dining and drinks under the tent, or for live music every weekend, located on Route 105 in Marion.
Beat the heat and join us at Waterways, a water experience unlike any other this side of the bridge. Open daily, head over to the water park on Route 28, the Cranberry Highway. Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. This special weekly celebration of Red Shirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HP Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Back here for the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's a left-hander on the mound for the Kettleers now. A local product from America's hometown, Plymouth, Massachusetts, and Boston College. It's Joey Walsh, who comes in with a 3-2 record on the year, a 5.68 ERA. This is his 15th appearance, all of them out of the bullpen. Has struck out 18 in 19 innings pitched, but has allowed 23 hits as well. His last time out was back on August 2nd. It was a win against the Falmouth Commodores, in which he went 2/3 of an inning scoreless, only faced 2 batters, so retired both of them. He comes in for where Oliver Dunn standing in at the plate, the number 2 man in the order. With Isaac Collins at first base, gone on with a leadoff single. Walsh, obviously, with family and friends in the stands here today. One of the neighboring towns here in Wareham. Flamethrower out of Boston College and Plymouth North High School. Gatorade High School Player of the Year back in 2014 for Plymouth North. One of the premier public school programs in Massachusetts. Now Oliver Dunn, who is squaring around to bunt. Missing on that one, so it's 1-0. Ian, I know this is a part of the game you really love and value. It's something of a lost art in baseball these days.
Oh, for sure, Cam. I think bunting is so great, especially this is the situation you want to do it, a one-run game in the playoffs. Lay it down, get that insurance run.
He does lay it down this time, and it's a pretty good one. Zach Humphreys will field on over to first and get him, but moving into scoring position is Isaac Collins. Ahead of your 2 best RBI men who are now due up. Austin Shenton, and if it gets to him, Jeremy Idens is on deck.
Yeah, that's just a great job right there by Oliver Dunn to get that bunt down. Again, it doesn't look, that hard as a spectator, that sort of thing, but it's pretty difficult, as we've seen in the Cape League all summer. Guys really can't get the bunts down anymore, so to be able to get it down, like you said, in front of Shenton, in front of Idens, the big RBI guys, that's huge.
Shenton has the only RBI today. His last time up, the solo homer in the 4th inning. That is the difference in the ball game right now. This one going to miss down low below the knees to him, 1-0.
And Cam, it's interesting here to see Shenton against the lefty, because something that we've talked to him about before the games is that he likes to keep his splits relatively equal, and they've been pretty equal this summer between righties and lefties. And this is a big spot for him here against the lefty, where traditionally lefties are tougher on themselves.
That's something he takes a lot of pride in, is hitting well off lefties. He can't catch up to this one. Put him at 1-1. You mentioned over 300 on the year, both in the Cape and in the college baseball season against left-handers. He and Idens, really the only 2 guys in the Gatemen lineup who eat them alive. They have done so all year. (1-1) with 1 out. This one going to miss away, and Zach Humphreys does well to keep it in front of him and keep Collins at second base.
It's going to be interesting here to see how they pitch Shenton with the big hole over there on the left side of the infield between 3rd and 2nd, a little bit of a shift on, so they might try and pitch him inside here, get him to hit into that shift.
Brady Smith, the only man on the left side of the infield, and he's not necessarily protecting the line, but he's certainly shaded well towards that 3rd base bag. So as Ian just mentioned, a lot of room up the middle. And with that man on second base, if you're able to dribble one in the outfield, that should be enough for the speedy Isaac Collins to come around and score. Flamethrowing Walsh is 2-1. This one well outside. 3-1 now the count in Shenton's favor. Walsh has made 14 appearances on the year and none against the Wareham Gatemen, oddly enough. It's a team they faced 6 times. Of course, your division rivals you face 6 times throughout the year. (3-1) down low, ball 4. So they work around Austin Shenton, shift or otherwise, and he will trot down to first base with a free pass, and that might be the only task that Joey Walsh had in this ball game. And the lefty-lefty matchup as Jerry Weinstein will come out now and take the ball from him. So stick with us again as we'll have our second pitching change of the inning. We'll give you that new Kettleer coming in right after this.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program.
For a nostalgic Cape Cod vacation experience, head to Bay Motor Inn, where guests are treated like family. Located in the heart of Buzzards Bay Village, this 1950-style cottage colony still provides you with up-to-date amenities. The Gatemen thank the Bay Motor Inn for their support.
Located along the Cape Cod Canal, Keystone Place at Buzzards Bay is the area's newest rental independent living, assisted living, and memory care community. With some of the area's largest apartments and an ultra-inclusive monthly service package, Keystone Place is a life-fulfilling retirement community unlike any other. Distinct assisted living and memory care programs provide personal care services according to each individual's needs. Discover Keystone Place, the best option for meeting the care and support needs of seniors on Cape Cod.
Clobbered high and deep to right center field, and this one is gone. A home run.
Eastern Propane and Oil is the Wareham Gatemen home run sponsor. Each time a home run is hit by a Gatemen player, Eastern Propane and Oil donates a camp scholarship to a deserving youth. Eastern Propane and Oil, we're in your neighborhood.
We do have our new Cotuit pitcher on the mound right now, the right-hander who we saw warming up earlier, the St. Louis Billiken, Ryan Leffner, who was about to make his 15th appearance of the year, like Walsh before him, all out of the bullpen. A 2-0 record and a similar ERA at 5.26. Has struck out 22 in his 25 2/3 and has walked 9 and allowed 27 hits. This will be his 4th appearance against the Gatemen. Pitched against them on July 31st, his last time out in that 4-4 tie, in which he went 2 1/3 scoreless and struck out a couple. So he comes on here for the 4 spot in the Gatemen order, and the league's RBI king in the regular season, Jeremy Idens. And will stand in with runners at first and second with 1 out. They brought in Joey Walsh to face the left-hander Austin Shenton and was unable to do anything with him. Walked him on 5 pitches. So a short night for the Plymouth native. Now Idens will stand in 0 for 1 today, but did draw a walk his first trip to the plate. So this one's well outside of the first offering from Leffner to put Idens ahead of the count 1-0.
And Cam, this is when you really play the matchup game in the playoffs. You know, Leffner comes in for the two left, or Walsh comes in for the 2 lefties right there, and now Leffner in for the righties. You're not going to really do that much in the regular season.
This one catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. And as we see on the Cape League rosters all year, Ian, so many arms out there in the bullpen. You can really afford to start playing those matchup games, especially here in the playoffs.
No doubt, and especially, you know, playoffs it shifts because regular season you're just trying to get those guys the innings, get them to work.
1-1 misses down low on a pitch with some bite there from Leffner, but it puts him behind Idens 2-1. He's pitched well against Wareham this year. Another 2-2 tie back on July 12th. He went 3 scoreless against the Gatemen. As this one paints the outside corner for a called strike. In the other outing against them, though, he went an inning and a third and gave up 2 earned runs on just 1 hit. That back on July 21st, a rare 1-run victory for the Gatemen, and that one 4-3 here at Spillane. 2-2, Idens just getting a piece of it. Fouls it straight back to keep things there.
Yeah, he really wanted that one, Cam. Big swing from Idens on that, and he just on it too. Fouled it straight back, but he's seeing the ball well.
So 2-2. Couple of men on base and one out here in the Gatemen half of the sixth, trying to build on this 1-0 lead. Idens swing and a miss on an elevated fastball from Leffner. A huge out for him as he's fresh into the game, and a huge out for the Kettleers to keep those two men stranded. So now 2 outs in the inning, and Gian Martellini, who gave the ball a ride his last time up, will stand in. He would fly out, though, to center field back in the 4th inning. It's a 3-1 pitch that he got a hold of. Excuse me, a 2-0 pitch he got a hold of. Now the first offering to him misses up and away for ball 1, 1-0.
And just like with Shenton up, we saw a shift to the right side of the infield. Now we're seeing one to the left side of the infield. Just one guy over there on the right side and 3 over there on the left with Martellini, the right-hander, up.
1-0. This one going to miss up as well. So 2-0 to Martellini again. And Ian, with no one really keeping him on at first base, Shenton not really your speediest runner. Do you maybe try and double steal here with 2 outs, or is that just too risky to make the third out at third base?
I think it's too risky to do that, but you can bet if he puts one in the gap, Shenton's scoring from first because he's going to get a great secondary jump with no one holding him on.
2-0 misses up high. 3 balls and no strikes to the catcher out of Boston College.
But if you want to be gutsy here, Cam, I'd say you let Martellini swing away. He put one, up to the fence earlier in the game. He's seeing the ball well. Stenton has a lot of faith in him.
Let's see if the take is on. It appears it is, and it is a fastball right down the pipe for a called strike 1. Still a hitter's count, though, for Martellini, 3-1. This one going to miss up and away. Martellini ever so patient, taking everything upstairs, and will walk down with ball 4. And so now with 2 outs in the 6th, and a couple of pitchers have already come in for Cotuit in this inning, and they've got more warming up. The bases will be loaded. And oh man, are we going to see another one? Jerry Weinstein has made his way out to the mound again.
Well, let's just hope this is a visit, not another change, because I don't want to see another reliever come in and throw 8 or 10 warm-up pitches.
We are giving you your money's worth here, Ian Becerra. You get the half inning, and if the Gatemen don't score, it has to be the longest scoreless half inning of the season.
Oh, that's for sure. And this makes up for a couple weeks ago. I was on for a full inning, but it was way shorter than this half inning has been.
And they are going to stick with Leffner. Weinstein trots back after the home plate umpire was about to go break it up. In a big situation now for Drew Millis. A couple of walks in the inning for the Gatemen, and they are loaded up with 2 outs. Millis 1 for 2 today. Singled his first time up in the 2nd inning. If he does that here, that could score 2 runs as that shifts over once again to the right side of the infield. And this one, missing the zone from Leffner once again, puts Millis ahead of the count. A ball and no strikes. Once again, Brady Smith, the only man on the left side of the infield, and that's where the single went back in the 2nd inning for Millis. Looped it into left field, so let's see if they pitch him differently this time. 1-0, bounced foul out by the Cotuit on deck circle, 1-1.
And now we're seeing the shortstop kind of stay up the middle right there, keep Shenton close to the bag there. You're going to play behind him, not hold him on necessarily, but you don't want him to score on anything to the outfield. Try to keep him as close as you can, so maybe you get a play on the plate at a single.
Millis has 7 RBI on the year. Looks to add to that, but he's cutting on and missing at this breaking ball from Leffner. And a big pitch coming up for the right-hander. 1-2, 2 outs, and the bases full of Gatemen trying to add to a 1-0 lead. Cotuit fans trying to give Leffner a lift. 1-2. Bouncing to the plate and blocked by the chest protector of Humphreys to even things up, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Great job by Humphreys right there. Keep that ball in front of you. That's what you have to do as a catcher, especially, 2-strike pitch, runner on third base. That's a big run, and it's a great job by him to just keep that ball in front.
Leffner wants to go through the signs again with Humphreys. Gets the one he likes now. To the belt, the 2-2. On the inside corner for a called strike 3. And one Millis cannot agree with there, and he will leave them loaded. As we head to the 7th, it's the slimmest of leads for the Gatemen, 1-0. They lead here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Gatemen would like to thank Wareham Country Market for helping to feed the Gatemen players and staff after games. They are located about a quarter of a mile from the field on Route 6, offering a convenience store, a Dunkin' Donuts, and a deli. At the intersection of Route 195 and 28, Wareham Crossing, home of Lowe's, Target, and Red Robin, is the sponsor of the Gatemen Intern Program. They help to provide a world-class internship experience in broadcasting, marketing, sports management, and baseball operations. Check out Wareham Crossing's schedule for this year's Summer Movie Night Series.
Make sure you sign your child up today for the Gatemen Robertson's GMC Youth Clinics. This year we have 5 one-week sessions for children 5 to 14. We also have 2 special sessions for hitting and pitching open to teens. Registration is available online at gatemen.org or through forms available at the merchandise booth.
To the final third of the ball game and into the 7th inning as Buddy Holly reigns over the speakers here at Spillane Field. But much to my chagrin, Henrique Demore, it's the song Buddy Holly by Weezer and not the late, great Lubbock native. And it's still a 1-0 lead for the Gatemen and for Easton Lucas as he deals with 7, 8, 9 in the Cotuit order after the Gatemen leave him loaded in the bottom half of the 6th and miss a prime scoring opportunity. Lucas has been good so far. In that one inning of work, gave up a hit but worked around it, left 2 stranded. Hit and a walk drawn in that one by the Cotuit hitters, but he got Rafe Chalmette to fly out to center field and end things. But it was quarter century for him, a 25-pitch inning. The first one of the 7th is cut on and missed. Burdick is 0 for 2 today, struck out looking in the 2nd. Popped out to Ryan Kryler at shortstop back in the 4th. This one's strike 2, so now 0-2. Burdick is down in the count. Cut on and miss. Burdick goes down for the 2nd time today. It's the first strikeout for Easton Lucas in his outing. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Love to see that. We mentioned it. Easton Lucas, not really a big strikeout guy, but took advantage of the tendencies of the free-swinging Peyton Burdick out of Wright State. Like you said, Cam, down for the 2nd time today. The next 2 guys in this order for Cotuit, 3 strikeouts between the 2 of them.
This one's in there for a called strike 1. Lucas to Zach Humphreys. One's going to be skied foul straight back. And like Burdick before him, Humphreys is quickly in the hole, 0-2. With 1 out, nobody aboard. He is 1 for 2 today, 0 for 1 today. Drew a walk back in the 3rd inning. Struck out his last time up. We'll avoid that for at least one more pitch as a waste pitch is missing down low from Lucas. Put the count at 1-2.
Can afford to be more aggressive here, obviously, with no Kettleers on the base paths. Humphrey's already down with a strikeout today, but does have a walk as well. Game probably the closest that the Kettleers got to scoring back in that scary third inning, which the Gatemen let up two wild pitches. A wild pitch and a pass ball as it was officially scored. It's Martellini and Garcia at that point were not on the same page. Now the count evens here 2-2. So now Easton Lucas going to attack the zone a little more. Fewer liberties to be taken by the Pepperdine Wave.
2-2 is going to be rocketed towards left field, but moving back on it a couple of steps is Jacob Goldfarb right at him out there in left field for a loud out number 2. So Humphreys hits it hard, but he is retired. And the first 2 men are set down in the inning by Easton Lucas. And now the number 9 man, Brady Smith, will try to avoid the hat trick as he's already struck out twice today, 0 for 2. One missing 4-1, and even out of the number 9 hole, he's definitely got the average, 333 coming into today. Homer, 10 RBI, 412 on base percentage, so he really does embody that adage for Mike Roberts that your number 9 man is basically your second leadoff guy, and he's going to tuck this one just inside the foul line down the third base side, and it's into left field for a hit. They've got a play on at second, but a pop-up slide. Brady Smith is in there safely. Just the second hit of the day for the Kettleers, the first one for extra bases. It is a double by Brady Smith here with 2 outs in the 7th.
Tough luck there. That one, like you said, Cam, just snuck in there, and Austin Shenton had a beat on it there, but playing a little too far away from the third base line, even backhanded there. Shenton, not the fleetest of foot, but a very sure-handed glove at third, no doubt. But has had himself positioned the wrong way, and sometimes nothing you can do about that. But Lucas now having to work out of back-to-back innings here with a runner in scoring position.
And now it's back up to the top of the order. Will Robertson will flare this one out to right field. His college teammate Isaac Collins comes on and will make the catch. So after the 2-out double, Brady Smith is immediately stranded there. We head to the stretch here at Spillane Field. It's still 1-0 Gatemen here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
At E.L. Morse Lumber, commitment to the customer shines through in every aspect of their daily operations, including their competitive prices, complete product selection, and superior customer care. Visit E.L. Morse Lumber, located on Cranberry Highway in Wareham, for service with a personal touch.
The 80 Makepeace Company also owns and operates Reed Custom Soils, the area's leading manufacturer of custom soils, including CU structural soil and Rooflight certified green roof media. Reed Custom Soils is also a manufacturer and distributor of baseball infield mix and conditioners. To learn more, visit 80makepeace.com or reedcustomsoils.com.
Northeast Maritime Institute's College of Maritime Science is a proud sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen. If you're looking for a career at sea, look to NMI's program of education, adventure, and employment on northeastmaritime.com, America's premier 2-year maritime college.
We are back here for the bottom of the 7th inning. People have been taken out to the ball game, and they have seen a pitcher's duel so far here from Spillane Field. Still 1-0. The difference in the game, a solo homer by Austin Shenton in Game 1 of the best-of-3 Western Division semifinals. 7, 8, 9 due up in the Gatemen order as they look to extend once again. We'll start with Lyle Lockhart. That homer for Shenton coming all the way back in the 4th inning, so we've seen nothing since then. And for the Gatemen in that span, only 1 hit in the 2 innings since. That came to lead off the 6th from Isaac Collins. That last frame, they left the bases loaded. This one's grooved in there for a strike to Lyle Lockhart. Lockhart 0 for 2 today. Foul pop and a strikeout. Has left 2 guys on base. This one catches the inside corner again. He's down 0-2. 0-2. Waste pitch, missing down low and in the dirt. Lockhart will not go down as quickly as he did last time. He went down on 3 pitches in that strikeout in the 5th inning. One-two is going to be bounced foul. Just under the left hand of first base coach Matt Miller.
Lefners look good so far, I think, against the Gatemen. Got a pair of strikeouts, one swinging, one looking. Did walk Gian Martellini. But other than that, has continued a mostly successful season against Wareham. In the loss, the 4-3 loss back on July 21st, he got roughed up a bit. But other than that, no earned runs given up in 5 innings of work against the Gatemen.
This one's popped up in shallow left field. Peyton Burdick, the left fielder, is calling everyone off. And he will retire. Lyle Lockhart, for the 3rd time today, he goes down. And that's how we start things in the 7th. It's now Jacob Goldfarb, who himself is 0 for 2. A couple of strikeouts for the Oregon Duck. Will stand in with 1 out. He's yet to face Lefner. Both those strikeouts came off Griffin McLarty, today's starter for Cotuit, who was in line for the loss. Responsible for that Shenton home run. First pitch drops in there for a strike to Goldfarb, 0-1. This one's going to be bounced to the first baseman, Tolia, and it's right off his leg, and it caroms into short right field. Gotta be an error on the Cotuit first baseman as Jacob Goldfarb will reach first.
Take it any way you can get it at this point. I think that one, like you said, ruled an error as he literally and figuratively booted it.
So it is going to be an E3. Tag that one on Tolia. It's the first one for Cotuit today. So now Ryan Kreidler will stand in with a man at first and 1 out in the inning. Kreidler, like Goldfarb before him, 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Both of them swinging against Griffin McLarty. Goldfarb quickly back into first base as Lefter checks on him.
Goldfarb 4 stolen bases since joining the Gatemen, 0 in a Kettleers uniform. So it's felt a little bit more at liberty to run since hopping west of the Cape. Another pickoff attempt, and this is one of those things. I mean, it's interesting because, you might think, oh, well, these guys played together at one point earlier this year. Especially Lefner has been on the roster for Cotuit since day one. But Goldfarb, like I said, didn't steal a single base until coming to Wareham. On a Wareham team that really does not steal much, ranked 2nd to last in the league as far as stolen bases. And the Gatemen today trying to manufacture some runs, even though Oliver Dunn has been swinging a hot bat right after Isaac Collins. Donstead opting to go with the sacrifice. I guess he figures that'll generate more offense kind of artificially. Obviously didn't come to fruition as the Gatemen wasted a big opportunity last inning with the bases loaded. But wouldn't be surprised to see Goldfarb maybe take off here, try to generate something for Ryan Kreidler, maybe, even Isaac Collins with 2 down.
Well, I think you said it there with Isaac Collins looming on deck that this is such a crucial at-bat for Kreidler. Try and keep a guy who's been struggling lately, try and keep it off the ground and get it back up to the top of the order for the Gatemen to try and extend that 1-0 lead. There he goes. But it's going to be fouled straight back by Kreidler, so Goldfarb lets it go back to first. What is now a 1-1 count.
You see Cotuit just about shifting on everybody. No one is safe. Ryan Kreidler will face Brady Smith about 10 feet off the line, but even with the bag, Salvatore in at about usual shortstop spot, but a little closer to the line, and almost up the middle, Corey Wood, and obviously over at first, Michael Tolia holding on Goldfarb.
Certainly no shortage of summer homework for these Cotuit Kettleers.
Yeah.
There is a big hole on the right side. They're not going to need it on this pitch as it's taken for a called strike. On the outside corner, 1-2.
I guess he was sitting something else there, but that might have been the pitch to try to do it with. You hit it where it's pitched. Little hanging breaking ball. Not much of a gap in right center. I mean, there's a good-sized one, but not an unusually big one. Bigger than the one in left center. But like you said, Cam, easy pickings if you can punch it through right side.
1-2. He's going to miss outside. Snap throw down to first base is awfully close. But in there headlong is Jacob Goldfarb safely. So they do have their eye on their former teammate now, as he was off with the pitch that Kreidler fouled back earlier in this count. Now it's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Kreidler goes down for the third time today, all of the swinging variety. A big out for Leffner. Keeps Goldfarb at first base, second one of the seventh. And Isaac Collins will now try and salvage the inning.
This is one of the better guys to do it. 1 for 3 today. One of just 3 Gatemen hits. As, like I said, the offense has been tough to come by, especially for Cotuit. But Isaac Collins, one of the few guys to get it going for Wareham today. He's been a consistent producer at the top of the lineup. Like I said, the strikeouts have gone up, but still managing to keep the average above 300. And now being shifted on here is Collins as well, switch hitter from Creighton. We've seen Collins, he's mostly a pull hitter, but usually you see, guys being shifted on that are either low average guys that kind of sneak hits to the pull side, or power hitters that roll over stuff and just try to take stuff on the outside corner, roll it over, and go, weak dribbler to the shortstop side or second base side for a right or left-handed hitter respectively. Collins isn't one of those guys.
And he's going to bloop this one down the right field line. Fair ball, and it's trouble out there for Robertson. Getting to third is Goldfarb. Into second base, standing up, is Isaac Collins with a 2-out stand-up double to put runners at second and third, and the Gatemen are really threatening now.
Love to see it, but base knocks coming at a premium. A huge opportunity here for Oliver Dunn. With 2 down and 2 aboard here, could start to break this game open and give the Gatemen a comfortable lead going into what has been a pretty good Cotuit bullpen, anchored, of course, by Steven Schock. The bullpen melted down a little bit for Cotuit the last time these two teams played. But I think if the Gatemen see anyone but Steven Schock with more than a 1-run lead, they're in great position to win this ball game.
So Oliver Dunn will take the first pitch up high for ball 1, and now you think back to that ball that Kreidler fouled back, and Goldfarb had a good beat down at second base. If he was able to have that stolen, that double would have scored him to make it 2-0, but hindsight's 20/20, and instead, there are 2 men in scoring position with 2 men out. And Dunn, so for 2 today, sacrifice a man his last time up, going to shoot this into right field, base hit. Coming around to score is Goldfarb. They're waving in Isaac Collins. It's dropped out there by Robertson, so he'll score easily. A 2-out, 2-run single by Oliver Dunn opens things up for the Gatemen. It's 3-0 Wareham in the 7th.
Wow, that is exactly the type of insurance that the Gatemen needed. That much closer to comfortably taking this game 1 away from Cotuit, but this one far from over, obviously. But how about Oliver Dunn, a guy that became almost irrelevant in the middle part of the season here as he struggled at the plate. His batting average at one point dipped below the 100 mark, but now a consistent producer in this Wareham lineup comes up huge. 3-0 Gatemen in the 7th inning.
So Dunn is the man tonight, the only other man to drive in a run. Austin Shenton at the plate right now. Has a solo homer earlier in the game, has drawn a walk as well. He's 1 for 2, obviously, as this one bouncing on the inside half, and Shenton held up on the swing, so it's 1-0. So often those kind of guys in the postseason, Henrique, that will come through. And you least expect it. Oliver Dunn has really come alive in the last couple weeks of July and extends that here into early August, as this one's just foul, as that would have been more extra bases for Austin Shenton. But it's just strike 1.
I think in a weird way, as our beat writer Ian Becerra pointed out, I think the only thing worse than facing Austin Shenton in this scenario, with the potential to break this inning open, he's shown his more extra base power, obviously, the long ball, 3 in a week, would have been to face Shenton with the bases loaded. I mean, the Forest obviously would have been on at any base as opposed to just 2 now. But Shenton in a much less dangerous spot offensively now.
Shenton will call time and will stand outside ahead of this 1-1 offering. Here's that offering from Leffner. Way late on the swing is Shenton. Put the count at 1-2. The 1-2 with 2 outs is going to miss up high. Dunn was off with the pitch. They got a play on him at second, and he is in there. He got around the tag, just under it there from Salvatore, who is not liking the call at all. But nonetheless, Oliver Dunn, who just got the big single, gets into scoring position ahead of this 2-2 pitch with a stolen bag.
We saw a controversial call back in the second inning in the fielder's choice off the bat of Gian Martellini. Go the Gatemen's way, but not end up mattering. You see a replay here. Ooh, that is close.
It's a bit of an awkward slide, as you see, from Dunn, trying to get around that tag, and it's really bang-bang, as you say.
Yeah, it was a bang-bang play, but I think Dunn did the right thing, tried to slide to one side of the bag. He slid to the outside part.
Now 2-2 is going to be bounced foul in front of the Gatemen dugout to keep the count right there. So the big hit in the inning, of course, the 2-run single by Dunn that he placed right under the glove of Michael Tolia diving at first base in that big 6'5" frame. Enrique, it reminded me a lot of a perfectly taken David Beckham free kick.
Ain't that a blast from the past?
This one missing outside, 3-2.
Back when he would brand the phrases like Bendo like Beckham.
Yeah.
At the height of his career in the early 2000s.
Oliver Dunn, big hair guy.
Big hair guy. David
so he
Beckham,
has worked that nickname around the clubhouse a bit.
Yeah.
Usually just shortened to Bex. As this one runs inside for ball 4. It's the second drawn by Austin Shenton. And he will now get to first. There's 2 men on with still 2 outs for Jeremy Idens.
That's some big 2-out production here from the Gatemen. Isaac Collins with the double, Oliver Dunn with the big 2 RBI single. Now the stolen base. Austin Shenton with the walk. So in hindsight, wouldn't have mattered. As now looks like it might have a pitching change. It is an infield meeting here. Is this inning threatening to spin completely out of control for Cotuit, and that will in fact be the day for Ryan Leffner. The Gatemen get to Leffner for the second time in 4 tries this summer.
So we will give you that new Cotuit pitcher when we come back here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Gatemen Baseball is officially sponsored by Robertson's GMC, the truck professionals. Located just 2 miles away on Cranberry Highway, we are proud to sponsor the Gatemen Youth Clinic for 2018. Robertson's GMC. We are professional grade. Power like a pro.
Legacy Insurance Agency at 213 Main Street here in Wareham can offer you coverage for all your insurance needs. We have the bundle discounts, the accident forgiveness, the vanishing deductible, no loss, etc. But unlike those other gimmick companies, we can quote you with multiple carriers. So forget the lizard and the price tool and come talk to a professional. We'll help you find what's right for you.
Shop from home year-round on Gatemen.org. You can customize your Gatemen gear from any device, anywhere. We offer a large selection of apparel and unique gifts 24/7, 365. Hard to find sizes, colors, and styles. Youth Clinic registration is also available. Visit us today and remember us for holiday gifts at Gatemen.org.
Welcome back into the bottom of the 7th, and yet another pitching change for the Cotuit Kettleers here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And it's a man who has struggled to say the least in his shortened time on the Cape. In 2 appearances, Jason Reynolds has not had a scoreless one yet. No record, an ERA of 9. And in 6 innings pitched, he has struck out 5 and hasn't walked anybody, but has also given up 6 earned runs. Most recent time out was to try and close out the 3-0 lead the Kettleers had back on July 31st, the last time these 2 teams met The Gatemen lit him up for 4 earned in the 9th inning on 6 hits to take that 4-3 lead in what would eventually become a 4-4 tie. And the timeout before that, his only other appearance on the year, he gave up 4 runs, only 2 of them earned in 3 innings. So he hasn't had anything really close to a clean outing, as that's who Mike Roberts will go to with 2 outs still in the 7th inning, but 2 runs already in for the Gatemen and 2 more of them on base for Jeremy Idens.
And a big opportunity here, obviously, with Idens. A little bit of a lower leverage situation here with 2 outs. And I mean, from a selfish perspective, these runs don't go on your record if you're Reynolds. More trying to replicate the numbers he put up at Lehigh. 3-5 win-loss record and a very respectable 3.68 ERA. 11 appearances, 4 of them out of the bullpen, and 21 earned runs in his 51 innings of work, 48 strikeouts to go along with that.
First pitch to Idens is going to be popped up foul off to the right and out of play. Idens had a tough night at the plate, but he got one he liked on the first one this time. Did draw a walk back in the second, but other than that, 0 for 2. Has popped out to the first baseman and also struck out looking his last time up, leaving 2 men on board in the 6th. 0-1. Clips the outside corner, called strike 2, and Idens is quickly in the hole. Oh-2 is going to be popped up on the infield. 2 outs, so no infield fly rule, but Corey Wood will reel it in anyway. So the inning is mercilessly ended for the Kettleers, but only a couple hits in the inning for the Gatemen. It doesn't matter. They're timely, and they bring in 2 runs to extend that lead from the slim 1-0 margin to where we are now at 3-0. Of course, the big hit coming, the 2-run single by Oliver Dunn in that one. And a man who has to be excited after his team bringing it out to a 3-0 lead is Don Snedden, and he is on the field with our Mary Orders right now.
Thanks, guys. So Coach Ryan Garcia went 5 innings. What'd you like from his outing?
Shutout baseball. Didn't give him a run. He battled a little bit there and a couple times there with his fastball control, but came back and he's pitched like he did all summer. Can't expect anything more out of him. Did a great job.
What was working for him?
Well, at the end, it was his fastball, ironically, that he did not have command on earlier. He just started blowing it by him at the end. I think he got a little pissed off and just started coming after some guys.
What do we need to do to close out this game?
Well, we got to get either 1 or 2 more innings out of Lucas here, or we have to get to our pin. But this has happened before. We've been in this spot before, so we're not relaxing by any means.
Coach, thanks so much. Guys, back to you.
669.
And Don, 3-0, our new score. Easton Lucas still out there for the Gatemen. We'll see how much more the rest of this game he gets. Still a save situation if it goes on to the 9th at 3-0. But it's Easton Lucas's 8th right now, and he has been pretty good. Has only allowed 2 hits in his 2 innings, but has left both those guys stranded, obviously, as the Cotuit Kettleers have not gotten a run home. It's the only 2 hits of the day that Cotuit has come in the 6th and 7th innings off of Easton Lucas. Enrique, a man who is trying to reverse his error in the last half inning, which proved costly. Michael Tolia will get things started in the 8th.
Yeah, no, proved costly. Obviously, the 2 unearned runs coming in, both those being charged to Ryan Leffner, as the 2 additional men he left on base, and Oliver Dunn and Austin Shenton stranded as Jason Reynolds, got Idens to pop out. There's an 0-1 count quickly here to Mr. Tolia. But Easton Lucas has been a victim of a couple hard hit balls. And there's another one.
This one is hard hit, right over shortstop Ryan Kreidler's head and into left field for a base hit. So Tolia, after a couple of tough luck at bats, does get on base for the first time today. First hit for him. That's how he leads off things in the 8th. He has a single himself. He was the one who got the first hit of the game back in the 6th inning off of Easton Lucas. 1 for 3 on the day with a ground out and a fly out as well.
Jacobs, like I mentioned, an absolutely monster year for UNC Pembroke in D2. Batted .417, OPS 1137 on the season. And he fouls that one off, but hit a laser of a single up the middle his last time up. A few hard hit balls off Easton Lucas, like we said. He stranded all 3 base runners that have reached the single, a double, and a walk, but now the 4th man to reach here against the Pepperdine Wave. And depending on how this inning goes, it'll be interesting to see how Don Sneddon and Jim Lawler decide to go about the 9th. Do you throw out someone like a Ryan Stoudemire for a quick save? Maybe a Tyler Kaiser. All right, we'll see. Or if Lucas gets to this inning quickly, wouldn't be surprised to have him go the 9th.
We have seen that before where a guy is working well in the couple of innings leading up to the 9th, and he gets the 9th inning and has come back to bite the Gatemen before. Joey Barron, the most recent example in that 4-4 tie against Cotuit. He had 2 shutout innings going into the 9th. Got the first 2 men out in the 9th, and then it came apart for him, and the tying run came in to score that led to the 4-4 tie just under a week ago. This one's going to be slapped to the left side, a foul ball. It's third base umpire to jump out of the way of it. No appeal from Mike Roberts, so either he's drastically changed his ways or that was the correct call. 0-2 the count with that man at first base.
And as far as we can see, the first time the ball, or at least one of the definitive hops that it took, the first one past the third base bag, was in foul ground. So using his best judgment there. And Lucas with a very, very nice 0-2 pitch. Took a little something off. It looked like a changeup. Just caught or didn't catch enough, I should say, the outside part of the plate to trade Jacobs. But Lucas still in the driver's seat.
1-2 is the count. But this one going to miss down low. A tough one, at least for Jacobs anyway, to lay off. He began to swing around but holds it up. So it's 2-2. Two-two's going to be bounced on the ground to short. Kreidler flip it onto second for 1. The relay on to first, not in time. And the Cotuit fans will feel that is poetic justice. That another one is broken up on a close call at first base.
Yeah, like we said, the Martellini call back in the 3rd inning. Did end up coming back to bite the Kettleers, but still, like you said, kind of eye for an eye approach here, maybe taken by the umpire. Going to get another look here. Ooh, that was close. I think Lockhart, he kind of nodded his head as he came off the bag, so I think he knew that was
I think that
the right
he's
call.
Safe.
Yeah.
I think that one he's safe. Martellini one, I still think they might have gotten wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure they got it wrong. We got a couple very good looks on it on this one. I mean, we try to be diplomatic on 50-50 calls, but if it's wrong, it's wrong.
0-1 is the count to Corey Wood after a called strike on the inside half. Wood 0 for 2 today, but did draw a walk back in the 4th inning. That off Ryan Garcia. 0 for 1 off Lucas. This one up and away. For Garcia, it was great today. He is in line for the win once again. 5 shutout innings for him. And he hasn't actually allowed an earned run since all the way back on July 12th. 1 earned run in the game against the Cotuit Kettleers. This one's on the inside corner again. 1-2 to Corey Wood. One-two missing up high to even things at 2-2. Chatham Anglers are starting to open things up in the Eastern Division playoffs. They now lead 6-2 over the Harwich Mariners out at Veterans Field. Two on the outside corner for a called strike 3. A perfect pitch from Easton Lucas rings up Corey Wood. And it's only his second strikeout of the day. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard, the official strikeout sponsor of the Wareham Gatemen.
That's about as straight a pitch as you're going to get on a 2-strike count if you're Corey Wood. You got to be protecting a little bit better than that, especially as your team down 3-0 here with 4 outs away from losing game 1.
This one's going to be popped up foul by Salvatore, 0-1. Man at first base is Trey Jacobs, who got there on the fielder's choice. The Gatemen were unable to turn 2. Oh, 1, runner goes, and he got a good jump. Martellini's got a beat on him, and he is dead to rights at second base. Gian Martellini throws out his second runner of the year, and that's how things end in the top half of the 8th. We go to the bottom half with your Wareham Gatemen up 3-0 over Cotuit here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Mezzaluna is a family-run Italian restaurant celebrating 80 years in business. Located on Main Street in Buzzards Bay, Mezzaluna specializes in Italian cuisine, a lunch menu that's the best deal in town, and serves Cape Cod's famous prime rib every Wednesday and Saturday. Come enjoy the feast at Mezzaluna, the Italian family restaurant.
Soft as a Grape has 10 retail locations on Cape Cod, so even when you're cheering on your Gatemen at any away games, stop into a Soft as a Grape store for the best Cape Cod products. Stores located in Falmouth, Mashpee, Woods Hole, Hyannis, Chatham, Provincetown, Edgartown, Oak Bluffs, and Vineyard Haven. From beach day to every day, Soft as a Grape has you covered.
Bottom of the 8th, and what the Gatemen hope is their last ups tonight. They will send up 5, 6, and 7, leading 3-0. Still Jason Reynolds out there, the man who finished things off in the 7th inning for the Kettleers after 2 Gatemen runs had already come home.
Gian Martellini, the guy who was in his nightmares that night after the 4-4 tie, big bases loaded, 2-run single, turned from a 3-1 ball game into a 3-3 tie. For Isaac Collins brought home another run on a single in the 9th to steal 2 points away from the Kettleers.
This one in there for a called strike, 0-2 now the count. Regardless of the outcome tonight, the Gatemen will hit the road and go to Cotuit tomorrow at Lowell Park. A 3 p.m. start time. Of course, no lights in Cotuit, so they got to bump it up even earlier for postseason baseball and make sure we don't end in a draw. So 3 o'clock, those of you who need a break from work on a Monday, no better way than to tune in right here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We'll, of course, have that one. This one deep in the hole at short. A really tough play for Salvatore, who slips on the outfield grass, and that should be an infield single for Gian Martellini to start things off in the 8th.
Yeah, nothing you can do there if you're Mike Salvatore. Just got to tip your cap to the former Kettleer, Gian Martellini. Like you said, Cam, he did, I think, which was the intelligent thing to do, was take the half second and set your feet. But grass may be a little slick out there in left field. He was able to, he parked himself, but he just kind of, his momentum just kind of, to use a technical term here, skirted him out into shallow left field. The throw was a little bit off target, but even with Martellini, not the fastest dude in the world, still would not have been able to get him.
Only technical terms here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. This one is going to be bounced on the infield. It's going to stay fair, and a tough play for Reynolds. He's going to throw it away. It's going to get behind first base. Forcing the issue is Martellini down to third, but he is going to be thrown out. It got past Tolia, who was right on. I think it might have hit Millis on the way through. And Martellini, trying to get to first to third on it, is gunned down over there at third base. And instead of runners at the corners with nobody out, it's Drew Millis at first with one man out.
So I still imagine you get an error charged to Jason Reynolds, but a tough one there. And Drew Millis, the first thing you heard out of the mouth of somebody, might have been Don Snedden, might have been Jim Lawler, somebody on the base paths, was run it out. And Drew Millis did the right thing there. And that was a close play at third there for Martellini. I don't think he should have tried to be too overzealous there, especially with runs coming at a premium. First and second, nobody out. That is a fantastic situation to be in. I think you settle for that.
Now Lyle Lockhart will take the first pitch inside for ball one. 0 for 3 today. A couple of pop-outs and a strikeout mixed in there. Runner going in Drew Millis, and he's going to be thrown out trying to steal second. Gatemen all over the place on the base paths in this inning. And Jason Reynolds has not retired a man in this inning, and yet there are 2 outs.
Yeah, he's getting away with a couple here. He's given up. He's been let down by, well, his own defense. A sloppily shoveled, that's a technical term, a sloppily shoveled ball. Try to get the 1-3 put out as that one is missiled into the screen over there in front of the Cotuit dugout. 1-2 to Lockhart, I should say. And the benefactor of some over-aggressive Gian Martellini base running. Gatemen better hope this doesn't come back to bite him.
It'll still be a save situation if it stands at 3-0. Hoping they didn't bail out the Kettleers pitching staff as this one's fouled straight back. 1-2 now the count. One and two with now 2 outs and nobody aboard somehow for the Gatemen in this inning. This one going to miss outside 2-2. This one's going to be bounced on the ground to second and 4-3 put out. So Reynolds gives up a couple of singles and faces the minimum. So we go to the 9th. 3-0 the Gatemen lead on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Whatever your goals may be, Joe Crespi and the Merrill Lynch of Taunton will work with you to develop a customized financial strategy designed to help you pursue what's important to you. Managing your wealth and listening to you is their top priority. Folks, after the game, be sure to visit El Mariachi on Main Street for the best Mexican food in Wareham. The cantina provides a delicious late-night snack accompanied by fun cocktails.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Three more outs to get for the Gatemen to try and take a 1-0 lead in the series. 3-0 is the score today, and they are going to ride the hot hand. Easton Lucas out for his 4th inning of work now. Has not allowed one to come across, but has left base runners on in each inning. Has put base runners on in each inning. Of course, the last inning ended with Trey Jacobs being thrown out trying to steal second, so technically no one left on base in that inning, and the man who was at the plate was Mike Salvatore, who will stand in now. And he has reached base 3 times tonight, reached on a couple of errors as well as a walk. First one misses up high above the Cotuit letters on the road jersey. 1-0.
Seen some late inning heroics from the Kettleers. Overcome a 2-run deficit in the 8th. The last time these two teams played here at Spillane Field. Only W of the year at Spillane for the Kettleers as they started their resurgence to try to even contend for 3rd against the Commodores. but secure with ease their 4 seed in this playoff race. A strike 2 drops in there, but Lucas looking comfortable as ever. But you know, Cotuit's not going to go down without a fight.
Lucas looks in. The 1-2 is going to be fouled straight back by Salvatore. Keeps things right there at a ball and 2 strikes. Rafe Chomet is on deck. One, 2. He's going to run outside for a ball, 2-2. Salvatore battles. Fouls this one straight back again to keep the count there.
A bit of an odd day at the plate for Salvatore. 0 for 2, but has reached 3 times. A pair of errors by the Gatemen. One by Ryan Kreidler, one by Austin Shenton. Just 1 error for Cotuit, but also walked in the 6th.
Kind of like that last inning offensively for the Gatemen, how weird it was. An appeal down to first base. They're going to say he held up. That was close.
Mighty close.
Salvatore keeps it there at 3-2, though. This one going to run inside. Lucas loses him. And not the way you want to start the 9th inning in a save situation. A leadoff walk for Salvatore. This is something we've seen with the Gatemen pitching staff, as I mentioned earlier. Comes to mind a couple of outings by Jared Horn and Cody Carroll, where they each walked the first 2 men of the 9th, and both ended in blown saves for the Gatemen.
Here's the bucking trends, Cam.
Both of those, though, in a 1-run ball game. This is a 3-run ball game.
And both of those guys had been subject to up and down, short and long relief outings. Lucas has been about as steady as they come.
He's about to deliver his 58th pitch of the night. That will come to Rafe Chomet. First offering up letter high, ball 1.
Chomet still searching for his first Cape League hit. 0 for 3 today after an 0 for 4 effort in the 5-4 win against Falmouth. There's now a mound meeting going to be called. Jim Lawler going to go out to talk to his pitcher.
For the first time today, Jim Lawler is out to the mound to discuss strategy. You can discuss investment strategy with Joe Crespi from Merrill Lynch as well, who sponsors this trip to the mound. We're going to have a change here. Save situation still in place for the Gatemen, but it will not be Easton Lucas's to close out. We will give you that new Gatemen pitcher when we come back here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Get Gatemen gear. Check out the latest styles and colors of your favorite Gatemen apparel. Also in stock, a large selection of Cape League items, including tickets to the All-Star Game. Test your pitching speed and pick up a souvenir ball, all at our merchandise booth.
Since 1950, Morse Insurance has consistently offered the best insurance at competitive rates to generations of clients in southern Massachusetts. If you're frustrated with paying for what essentially feels like just a piece of paper, it's time for you to check out the one-of-a-kind client experience that only Morse Insurance can deliver.
The 2018 Cape League All-Star Game will be played at White House Field in Harwich, Sunday, July 22nd. Game time is 6 p.m., gates open at 2. One highlight will be the Cumberland Farms home run hitting contest. There will also be an autograph session and a large merchandise village with items from many of the teams. Support the Gatemen in part by purchasing your ticket right now at the merchandise booth. Tickets are just $5.
Still things ahead for the Gatemen, 3-0 in the ninth. But with a man at first, nobody out, we do have a pitching change, which is brought to you by the Bay Point Club, Onset's 18-hole championship golf course. It's the man who tried to close things out against the Cotuit Kettleers the last time these two teams met back on July 31st. That his last outing. It's the left-hander Joey Barron out of Lackawanna College, who has been excellent for the Gatemen since coming over in the middle of July. A 1-0 record this year with a 1.35 ERA, has struck out 10 in his 6 2/3 innings pitched, and the earned run he gave up in that 4-4 tie against Cotuit last time out is the only one he's given up as a member of the Gatemen.
The other number is pretty good for him, like you were saying, Cam. No walks, the 10 Ks in 6 innings, only 6 hits given up. And that 240 opponent batting average, I think, speaks volumes to what he's done. And coming into, obviously, the sample size shrinks more and more, so you take the numbers with a bit more of a grain of salt. But before that outing, opponents batting just a $154 against him. But what a huge situation to come in here against a team that not a week ago you blew a save against.
He does get a chance at redemption here. He's not a guy who throws very hard, as this one misses up high, and the count was already 1-0 from Easton Lucas to Chalmette, so now 2-0 as he squared around a bunt that time. Definitely a lot of breaking stuff from Joey Barron. Real good changeup from the left-hander. 2-0 is going to find the outside corner for a called strike one. Barron's 2-1, top of the strike zone, a called strike two.
Yeah, like you said, Cam, Barron not a fireballer. D2 pitcher of the year out of Lackawanna College, though, does have some really nasty stuff. Just finished up his redshirt sophomore campaign there. But going back to the Cotuit game, he was 1 strike away from getting that save, and Cotuit rallied out of nowhere. 2 nasty strikeouts on a pair of breaking balls leading up to that, though.
2-2 is going to be sent out to left field. It's falling fast, but Jacob Goldfarb is waiting for it and will haul it in for the first out. You mentioned it, Henrique, that last time out. Back-to-back strikeouts to start off the 9th inning. It looked like the right decision from Don Snedden to leave him out there. And then 2 strikes on the guy who reached that close play at first base that looked like he was out. And instead the next 3 reach after that before the tying run comes home. And Barron finally shuts the door on what became a 4-4 tie.
Game of inches, Cam.
Certainly is. And this is inches into the strike zone to Peyton Burdick for a called strike one.
I think especially frustrating because of the play that Oliver Dunn made on that ball. That was a next-level play by the Utah second baseman. Did everything he could on a monumentally high chopper, as that one's in the dirt to even the count. Reached out, barehanded, and just kind of in one motion caught it out of the air and shoveled it over to first base on a bang-bang play that did not go the Gatemen's way and ended up costing them. Now, obviously the Gatemen got the 1 seed, so not too much to worry about in that respect, but at that point, it's pretty big, and gave Joey Barron, obviously, his first blown save of the year.
So now it's 1-1 to Peyton Burdick with 1 out, and the double play still in order with Salvatore over there at first base. Burdick is going to send this one out to deep left field, ranging back on his Goldfarb, looking up at the wall. We've got a brand new ball game. Peyton Burdick leaves the yard, and it's now 3-2. There is a lifeline for the Kettleers, who have been the only team on the Cape League to do damage off Joey Barron this year, literally. Now his only 2 earned runs have come against Cotuit.
Easton Lucas, not a guy who gives up the long ball. You think maybe, obviously the pitch count was running up on Lucas. He gave up the walk. It was the second walk that he'd given up on the day. In hindsight 2020, obviously, it's not worth it too much to think about the past here, especially because the Gatemen do still lead it. 2 outs to get here in a bottom of the order that has been moderately productive here for Cotuit, but tough sledding here so far in the 9th for Wareham.
This one's in there for a called strike to Humphreys. So the shutout gone after great pitching performance today from both Ryan Garcia and Easton Lucas, who will get charged with 1 of those runs. 0-1 on the inside corner, 0-2. 0-2, swing and a miss. Humphreys goes down swinging. First strikeout for Joey Barron. It's brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaros, and Bullard. And the Gatemen are now 1 out away.
11th strikeout of the day by Gatemen pitching. You said it, Cam, a dominant day, really through and through. And obviously this one stings, and these 2 runs feel like everything because they could darn well be everything, or at least the step 2 everything, something, if you will. But through and through, I mean, you look at this in a vacuum, this is phenomenal for Wareham. Now pinch hitter here. Adam Oviedo out of TCU, a guy who's been a middle infielder in and out of the starting lineup for the Cotuit Kettleers. Going to try and play hero here.
So Oviedo stands in to get his first cuts. Will hit for Brady Smith, who was the number 9 man in the order. Takes this one down low for ball 1. It's been a disappointing summer for him, only at 197 in average. 3 homers, though, with 12 RBI. Just a .278 on base percentage and 7 errors defensively. 1-0. It's going to be bounced foul, evens things at 1-1. Replaces Brady Smith, who was 1 for 3. A couple of strikeouts his first 2 times up, but then a 2-out double back in the 7th. Missing down low, 2-1 now the count.
And you got to get out of this without a tie, because you know in the 9th you're facing Steven Schock. High leverage situation, you put your best reliever out there if you're Cotuit.
This one's going to be rocketed up the middle, a base hit. Adam Oviedo off the bench and on the board. And the tying run is at first base just like that.
And here comes Will Robertson, a guy who 0 for 4 today, but made mincemeat of Wareham pitching the last time these 2 teams met in that 4-4 tie, like we said. Went 4 for 5, 4 singles, pair of RBIs, and a run scored.
And even in such a big game for the Gatemen, no one warming up in the Wareham bullpen. This is Barron's 9th inning. And Gian Martellini will come out to talk to him.
And no room for mistakes here. We talked about it, but winners of Game 1 since the Cape League has switched their playoff format to what it currently is back in 2010. Winners of Game 1 in every single series, division semis, division finals, grand finals, 75% of the time they go on to win the series. This last out is the biggest of the season.
Biggest out of the season upcoming, and the first time we've heard the term grand finals from Henrique de Moura. Is going to be bounced on the ground to second. Tough play for Dunn. He flips it over the head of Kreidler at second base. Everyone's going to be safe. This game and the Cotuit Kettleers will not go quietly. The tying run in scoring position, the go-ahead run at first. Still 2 outs in the 9th.
The first baseman, number 20, Michael Tolia from UCLA.
Michael Tolia will now stand in. And the wheels haven't fallen off just yet for the Gatemen, but that axle is dragging.
My heart is beating very fast, Cam. In that 8th inning, the sloppy base running and just the sloppy base running. I mean, if that's the reason Gatemen forfeit an insurance run here, I mean, what a sad way to lose this ball game.
Got to think back to the 6th inning as well, where Wareham left the bases loaded. As you mentioned just a few moments ago, it's a game of inches. Tolia has a single tonight, 1 for 4. Takes this one down low to even things at 1-1. Big hole between the first and second baseman is done, playing pretty much up the middle on Tolia. This one off the glove of Martellini into the backstop. Both runners will move into scoring position and it's getting very eerie at Spillane Field. Now there's action in the Gatemen bullpen. Can't quite see who it is, but a right-hander is warming up for Wareham. Game that the Gatemen have led all the way. They are now going to put Tolia on in a 2-1 count. They'd rather load the bases for Trey Jacobs.
I'm not opposed to this.
Cotuit fans are for some reason.
Weird.
Gifting another base runner. They're booing Joey Barron. But Tolia will trot down to first on the intentional free pass. And now the bases are loaded with 2 men out. And Trey Jacobs coming to the plate. He has reached base twice, his last 2 times up. Single in the 6th, reach on a fielder's choice in the 8th.
A lot of hard hit balls for this kid, and again, one of these new signings for Cotuit. They're coming up big here. I mean, Mike Schemetto for 4, sure, but a couple of hard hit balls for him, and he was robbed. This Trey Jacobs was robbed of a single by Jeremy Idens in the 4th inning.
First pitch to him, fouled straight back, strike 1. Barron's 0-1, fouled off to the left. 0-2. This will bring everyone to their feet here at Spillane Field.
I'm on my feet.
What was once so comfortable, now very sweaty. 2 outs, 0-2. The bases are loaded in what is now a 1-run ball game. Barron's 0-2. On the ground to third. Shenton will throw on to second. Close play. They got him there! A close 5-4 putout that will not keep the Kettleers quiet. They don't go quiet into the night. They score 2 in the 9th. They leave the bases loaded. And it's a 3-2 Gatemen victory here at Spillane. In our 1 win away from advancing. They will go to Cotuit tomorrow to take on the Kettleers, and Henrique, they just can't make it easy on us.
I'm just glad I'm 21 years old and not 81 years old calling this game. I don't know if I would have made it through the broadcast.
We might be 81 now.
I think we aged a couple of years in the last 10 minutes alone. Even Oliver Dunn, I mean, Shenton, he fielded the ball, and he set his feet, shuffled himself over to second base. He had to do what he had to do because coming over from first was Michael Tolia. He was retired on the 5-4 fielder's choice. Look, the Gatemen got the dub. Restart, go tomorrow at Lowell. But my goodness, I mean, Dunn was an inch away. We talked about a game of inches. Dunn was an inch or 2 away from not making that play. That throw almost sailed into right field. My goodness.
The Gatemen are one happy bunch, as they will have a business trip tomorrow to Cotuit to take on these Kettleers, who have been pesky all year and show why they are a playoff team tonight. Would just not die here in the 9th inning. And Mike Roberts got to be awfully proud of his bunch even in defeat, as it can go one of 2 ways for the Kettleers. That could break their spirits, and what we've seen all year, that's probably not the case. They could come out even hungrier tomorrow and defend their home field. But that we'll just have to wait and see. But a thrilling, exciting, downright unbelievable 3-2 victory for the Gatemen tonight over these Kettleers. We want to thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast are Trevor Russo and Cam Gonsalves. Our sideline reporter is Mary Orders. Thanks to our beat writer and Swiss Army knife tonight on the broadcast, Ian Becerra. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be tomorrow, Monday, as the Gatemen will play the Cotuit Kettleers at Lowell Park. The game starts at 3 o'clock with the Gatemen a chance to advance to the Western Division Finals. Our coverage will begin with Gatemen Pregame Live at 2:30. For our WCTV broadcaster, J.D. Rachi, and my broadcast partner tonight, Henrique Demore, I'm Cameron Stewart. Thanks for tuning into this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel later for tonight's postgame show, and we hope you will all join us tomorrow as the Gatemen will look to sweep the Cotuit Kettleers at Lowell Park. That's going to do it for every one of us here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. We'll see you tomorrow.